considered? I think you get like a tether for your phone to use as a hotspot, so you don't actually have to go through. But it can't just be like a normal USB. You have to get like a micro USB to an Ethernet adapter for your computer to pick it up as a connection.
Yeah,
It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
I have outages. I think this is the first time I've actually had an outage for the internet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The internet here has been very spotty lately. I don't know why. I think maybe they're doing maintenance on the lines or something down the street, but it's been like most of the time it's absolutely fine, and then all of a sudden we'll just get like a huge drop, or the internet will just go out altogether.
Yeah, they have an estimated repair time of like 11, so I'm assuming they're doing work on something. But why they would be doing it at night instead of, in the morning is beyond me.
Yeah, that's always the weirdest thing, right? Like, half the time when it goes out, and this might just be it going out, but lately it's been going out somewhere between 2 and 6 in the morning. And I'm like, why are you showing up that early?
Maybe they're figuring, with not everybody being in class for schools.
They want to take it out before people get into school, get it done with.
Or they want to take it out after.
Yeah.
They don't need the internet for school. Would be my assumption.
Yeah.
But, thankfully, I don't need Wi-Fi to play Age of Calamity.
Oh, yeah. You been enjoying that?
I have really been enjoying it. So I watched someone before I went to bed this morning talking about his reasons for liking Age of Calamity over the other Hyrule Warriors.
Well, I know it's more like Breath of the Wild than it is. I mean, it is very much a Hyrule Warrior, just a Warriors game. But with the changes that have been made to it, it's very much also like Breath of the Wild. It's kind of like halfway between them.
It is heavy Breath of the Wild, and then to me, a lot of the disconjointedness that I felt from the first Warriors isn't there. But that might be, it being a legitimate story.
Yeah. Hey, there he is.
Hey, he's alive again.
Okay, good. We've actually already been live for like 4 minutes, but because you're here, I figured you weren't going to take too long. I could say welcome to the Vomitorium. I'm your host, Metal. As always, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer, and a regular Duggernaut. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah.
I'm full.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I sent you a tweet like we already started. Yeah, and just before we officially started the show, but you know me, I'm always pre-recording some of the conversation anyway to make it awkward. We were talking about Hyrule Warriors, because Duggernauts were playing. I've still yet to play the game. Haven't even played the demo. I could go download the demo and play it. I've just been so busy working on stuff.
No, the demo solidified me getting it, and then me getting it was just that much better.
Yeah. But I know Marsupial's been playing it too. I've watched him play it, so I have seen how the game plays and looks.
It is a Warriors game, but something about it has it like I can't stop.
Yeah, but I like the Warrior games.
Yeah, I was addicted to the original Hyrule Warriors.
I don't know if that one.
But,
Go ahead.
just in your opinion on the old one.
That one, I don't know. It just felt so disjointed to me that it was difficult to enjoy in that regard. Like, I enjoyed it a little bit, but I think it maybe was just a difficulty spike or something that really did not help.
Oh, there's a lot of grinding in that game.
Well, there's grinding in any of the Dynasty games,
Well,
Mizo games.
Not in Dynasty Warriors 3 and 4, which were honestly the first two to act like a modern Dynasty Warriors game. That really didn't come until like 5.
So,
5 is when it really started getting
I don't
grind
know.
heavy.
It just didn't feel like grinding was, I guess, worth it. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It just didn't feel right.
once you kind of got through the story mode, which is very, very linear, I mean, there were little offshoots here and there. But once you got through all that, it became a game about grinding. That was it. There was no other, like, you felt like grinding to get to something. That was the game. Right. That was the whole game.
That might be what it was.
I mean, basically, because like I bought it on Wii U. I bought it on 3DS when they added the fairies, and I bought it on Switch when they basically added nothing. They just included everything.
I did end up playing it on not 3DS, but the other two consoles.
And
Predominantly
basically,
because they added Skull Kid.
oh yeah. Yeah, I don't even remember what they added because, yeah, when I had it on the Wii U, it was a bit bare bones, and then they kept adding things for DLC. But then on the Switch, obviously, the deluxe version just came with everything, so I couldn't really remember what what didn't come in the original. But yeah, basically, 90% of the time that I spent on the game was in adventure mode, and that was just grinding.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of hours that I've spent just grinding in that game because I love it so much. But yeah, I mean, adventure mode, there's no real goal other than to fill out the maps.
Also,
I think-
Duggar, is there any way you can get closer to whatever you're talking into? I can hear
I'm
you
talking
fine.
into my earbud.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me. Am I low?
Yeah, Rick in the chat says your volume's low. I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
I don't know
Hold
what the
on.
problem is.
Let me see if I can adjust it.
Yeah, so yeah, and I'll tell you, it comes with like 12 maps, I think. And I've only ever, we're talking, I'd have to look, but I'm guessing I've spent 500, 600, 700 hours on it. I've only 100%ed one of the maps, the very first one.
I'll just talk louder.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'll talk louder. Fuck. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh no. I think the big reason I can continue playing this one, even though there is a grind, is because like I'm not playing the same map over and over again, and it's always a different kind of bit of story behind it. Maybe, or it's I get to play Zervosa.
Yeah, in this one, it's a lot more integrated. Like, in the other one, it was very, I understand when you say disjointed, because it was just like, there was no map, it was just scenario. Like, even the story was just a box, and that was your scenario, and then there's an arrow, and then your next box. And you just did, you know, these scenarios as you went along. In this one, it's like, you've got your whole map of Hyrule from Breath of the Wild, and you can pick and choose where you want to go. And if you're familiar, and I definitely recommend that people play Breath of the Wild before this. They don't have to, but it helps because you know everything. Like, well, once you've played through Breath of the Wild and you're very familiar with all the different areas, it's really cool because it'll pop up a scenario over here, and you say, oh, that's you know, Hebra Mountain. I know that's going to be snowy. I know what that's going to be like.
Yeah.
And it does follow the maps very closely. And then a scenario will pop up on the plateau, and so the Temple of Time will be in there somewhere. And
I'm not gonna lie, when the plateau popped up, I was happy because
that's a great plateau.
okay, so this shouldn't be much of a spoiler anyway because of the all the promotional material for the game, but it's supposed to take place during the Calamity, and with it taking place during the Calamity, all those buildings that were destroyed and such are not. And the plateau looks beautiful with all of its Temple of Time stuff up.
Yeah. Amazing. I also like playing as the Divine Beast and utterly destroying the countryside.
Yes. I never knew how much I wanted to control one of the Divine Beasts until I was controlling them and absolutely stomping on stuff.
Once I got the hang of it, I liked Vomitorium the best, the flying one. Once I realized that she could, once I realized you could switch the camera angle to either the top or the bottom. Like you switch it to the bottom, bombard the stuff on the ground, switch it to the top, hit the stuff in the sky. I was having a ball with that. That was my favorite one.
Vomitorium actually has the most types of attacks because of that camera switch.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
because you have the weird lady looking one when you're at the top of Vomitorium, and then when you're at the bottom you have the rocket looking one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Vomitorium controls the best overall. And I think it's because they're flying.
Yeah.
Honesty.
I felt way more in control. Like when I did Redania on the, in Death Mountain, I almost died. I almost ran out of hearts because I couldn't control it.
I think I lost. I think I might have lost on Ruda because I ran out of hearts or something. I don't remember if I actually ever died on him, but Varuda, I think that's
Redania?
Rudania, they put you in all of these very small areas.
Yeah.
And you don't get to move around a lot. Rudania's honestly a rail shooter without the auto movement.
Right. Like you can go forward and back a little bit, but you're basically, you're going through this narrow chasm.
And then Naboris, which I loved piloting that one. I like the damage that it can do the most.
Right.
But it's all open area, and then there are random plateaus that you can't walk over, even though you're taller than them, which makes no sense. And then whatever the mountain one is, I forgot what you said. Rudania?
Yes,
Was
it's
Rudania
like
Darunia?
Darunia,
Okay,
but spelt in different order.
Yeah. Varudania had a lot of spots to where, as a lizard, you would expect him to be able to climb over things,
Yeah.
but you just get stuck.
That's the one that I almost died on.
Well, as a lizard, I'm expecting him to be licking his own eyeball a lot more.
Well, he doesn't have. Well, yeah, but he doesn't have a tongue. So
Oh, yeah.
kinda
That's
doesn't-
poor design, honestly. I mean, evolution's gonna be mad at that.
Well, I mean, evolution also gave him fucking laser instead. So
I mean, lasers are pretty important. I'm surprised we haven't gotten those yet.
well, who knows? Maybe we'll be able to shoot blasts from our mouth at some point too. But like, Rudania honestly feels the worst overall, just because of him being the lowest to the ground, and them liking to put a lot of plateaus in his reach.
Yeah. As well, Ruta is the elephant.
Yes, Ellie Fun the
Yeah.
elephant.
Yeah, that one was a little tough,
Yeah.
but I thought that Redania was the worst. Because I kept like getting stuck, and then I was like, okay, turn, and it doesn't just turn. It had to like go forward and turn.
You have to use all of your controls. It's really frustrating.
Yeah,
to do.
if you got too far ahead and kind of too far to the side, you're kind of screwed because you can't just back up. You had to like turn. It's like doing a 3-point turn in a big old SUV. It's really a pain in the ass.
Maybe there'll be an update that'll adjust how those work. Who knows?
Maybe.
You know.
But yeah, the Vomitorium, I thought, is obviously it had the best. It couldn't go backwards, but you're in a wide open area. If you miss something, you can just kind of go around and do another pass.
Yeah, and a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. And then of course it had the special weapons were awesome too.
I love just mowing down tons of monsters and Lionels and Guardians, shooting off their special beam cannons.
Yeah, I had no idea that was in the game.
No, I didn't either, and then when it happened, I'm like, okay. And then, like, they put in certain things that you wish you could have done in Breath of the Wild that you couldn't do. And then certain things you know, like, I will say I hated Rivali in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, me too.
This game did not help that. This game made me hate him even more.
What's funny is that's not the character I hated in that game.
Oh?
Yeah, well, you hate all things that are, amazing, that believe in you.
Dude, I hate Saito. I hate him so much.
Saito.
Yeah. I hate him. Like every core of my being.
I actually, even though, sorry, what's his name again?
Rivali?
Rivali, yeah. Even though Rivali's, I hate his attitude and his voice acting. Not that I don't like the voice acting itself, but I don't like him as a character. But I'll tell you what, playing as him is awesome.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the stronger Guardians. Obviously, that's the intent. That was always the intent because he was such an asshole. He was obviously supposed to be that strong character.
Oh, well, yeah, the trope of Rivali is like an exact cookie cutter trope that's in like most Japanese media. It's not one you see as much, though you do get it in Western media, but you get it in almost every Japanese story at some point in time.
Like a really cocky guy who's cocky for a reason because he's actually good.
Yeah, like he's good, but he's also insecure about how good he is.
But, like, I don't know, I wish there was... So I've obviously beaten the game and beaten the story because I, have no self-control. But, like, there's no character growth. Like, he's an asshole at the beginning and he's an asshole at the end.
Well, he kind of has to be. I mean, he has to still fit the character that he was when he died, and he still kind of had that attitude with you as you're going through Vomitorium up until you beat the boss.
Yeah, he had to be an asshole right up.
Yeah, you couldn't lose it.
So, I don't know how... So there were people pissed off about where this game would be placed in the story. Based off of what goes on, spoiler alert for those that... Or minor spoilers, I'm not going to go crazy. But for those that haven't beaten the game, cover your ears for like 15-20 seconds.
Yeah, you can take your headphones off. I'll give you a signal when it's done.
I don't want to know because I haven't beaten it yet.
Well, you might... How far have you gotten?
Well, no, he's taking his headphones off. I'll give him the signal when he's ready. Just say what you're going to say.
It's supposed to take place in an alternate timeline.
Oh, yeah, I figured that.
So, like, the stuff that, like, obviously, since you're playing this game, no one's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I would have loved for Rivali to die, he survives too.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that's why, you know, there being character development would have been nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I figured when I saw the little guy, the little guardian, that this was an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't explicitly state a branched timeline until near the end of the game because they bring it up in a tooltip.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I now get to know this little guy's name because they haven't mentioned his name yet until they mentioned it in the tooltip.
Okay.
But like, it's an alternate timeline, so he could have you know grown.
I'm just looking at Marsupial's face, waiting for you to finish.
Okay, you're good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done being irritated.
Yeah. No, I was just laughing, like, at your face sitting there waiting for him to be done.
I was just like, I didn't realize it was going to be that long.
It's because he took forever to spit out what he's going to say. I probably could have said the same thing in, like, half the time that he said it.
10 to 15 seconds turned into a bit longer, and then, you know, I got irritated again, and that made it take even longer.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm... Okay.
So...
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I gotta remember not to... My headphones are so screwed up. Whenever I occasionally wrap this thing around my finger, just as a nervous twitch. Every time I do it, the audio cuts out. Oh, I did it again. There we go. Anyway, so I'm going slowly because I'm streaming it, and I want to stream all of the story things. So
understandable.
yeah, I probably would be done with it by now. Except
To be fair, what he said, I'm not going to repeat it, but it really wasn't much of a spoiler. It's something anybody should have figured already, but again, we won't repeat it.
Yeah, it's pretty well established as when you're starting the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
But
I'm not that crazy. Like, if somebody told me a spoiler, I wouldn't freak out or anything. But
no,
Me,
it's basically.
I'm usually super against spoilers, but the problem is every major plot point about this game, I already know because it was included in the flashbacks of the previous. There'll be little things that can't be there, obviously, but like anything that's important has to have already been included. So I don't really care.
potentially,
Yeah.
but there's time travel involved
Yeah.
in this, so things could change.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've reached that far?
Well, yeah, I mean, the very first cutscene.
Okay, okay, never mind. I know
no,
Tommy.
Yeah, I haven't reached. I'm just saying, I'm guessing there's going to be. But yeah, as far as I've gotten all of the champions, and then I've gotten the Master Sword, and then I haven't gotten much farther.
Master Sword is so OP.
Yeah. But it was in the original Hyrule Warriors too. Is like once you get the Master Sword, I never had Link use any other weapon ever, unless I had.
Yeah, that's basically what mine is doing, because that ranged attack is. Yeah.
Plus,
Realistically
it's
speaking,
has the highest attack power.
it is the Sword of Evil's Bane. It should be the one with like, if it's not the highest attack power, it should at least throughout all utility be the strongest. Because obviously if you had something like the Big Goron Sword and you gave it more attack power, it would also lose the defensive ability of having a shield with you and stuff like that, but...
And you know, see, in Breath of the Wild, it was severely underpowered. I never used it until I got to the castle. 'Cause in the castle, it gets more power.
Yeah, in Breath of the Wild, when you fought certain enemies, it would be stronger. But,
but I never
it's
even...
just strong against everything.
Psh, I use that thing all the time. It was always on cooldown. I used that thing for mining. I would just be hitting rocks with it, like, whatever, I'm gonna get it back in 10 minutes.
Yeah. No, I never did. Like, even going out to get Guardians and stuff, unless I was in Hyrule Castle, I wouldn't, because there's so many freaking other weapons I'm constantly dropping weapons by
Yeah.
the end because I've just got
Well,
so many of them.
and I never fight anyway.
Like yeah.
It's like, if I have to, I will, but the game, with the fragility system, totally disincentivizes fighting if you don't have to. Like, just walk around, or sneak attack if you can. You know, it's just like...
Yeah, but you kind of have to because you got to collect all the stuff.
Well, if you're doing that, yeah. If you're just trying to get through the game, though, it completely disincentivizes fighting.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, like, you have to, in certain shrines, you have to, in the beasts, you have to... actually, you don't even really have to fight to get through the castle. You can just sneak past everything and climb straight up. You know, there's some times where you have to fight, and then there's times where you just don't.
Yeah, that's the fun of the game, man. How did you play that game? Never mind in saying
Very conservatively.
the whole point of the game was to get better at fighting.
I will say I enjoyed the bosses in this game a lot more than Breath of the Wild.
Well, yeah, there's a lot more variety.
Oh, the blight
There's
sucked.
more variety, and the final boss actually feels like what it should have been in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, don't tell me.
Yeah. But it's like...
All I'll say is that it feels like it should have.
Buck says, can I just say that I still don't understand how any of the champions lost to the Ganon Blights? Some of them I get, like, what is Mipha gonna do? Honestly, like, of all of them, what is Mipha gonna do? Rivali, like, how the heck did Rivali lose? And how the heck did, yeah.
I was gonna say, in
this game, it
Age of
makes
Calamity,
Mm-hmm.
in Age of Calamity, Mipha kicks ass. She's
one of my favorites. One of the
Yeah.
stronger ones.
Yeah, she's really
Yeah.
fast.
Well, they have to make her playable, but I'm talking about, like, the way the lore had established her from your perspective in Breath of the Wild, right? She's kind of like the support class character.
She's not really one that's built to be powerful, but they mention it that she's like that's why she was chosen. But like in this, without spoilers, it makes sense
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
as to why they would lose. So like that, it just makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you definitely haven't gotten that far.
You know, he's talking about Daruk being immune to fire and stuff, being a Goron. You know, the one that makes the least sense is Urbosa, because she could just be like... Urbosa's kind of like the most powerful out of all of them, lore-wise. Like, how did she lose?
Interestingly, in Age of Calamity, Daruk is not impervious to fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why Gorons are thought of as impervious to fire. They're just super fucking heat resistant.
They like the heat. That doesn't mean they like to be on fire.
Yeah.
But I can understand with the idea of the Goron tunic, them being immune to fire.
Well, and the fact that he's got Daruk's protection, which kind of makes him impervious to everything for a short amount of time.
He's got Daruk's Daruk.
Daruk's Daruk is ready to Daruk.
That's right. Well, for him, for Daruk, it's just my protection, or just protection.
He's just protect.
That's right.
Attack. No, fuck that. I'm gonna fight this Guardian because I had to run from him in the beginning, and I'm gonna beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, he's playing at the moment. That's what that clicking is. It's the remote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all can hear the clicking.
Oh.
Y'all can't hear me fucking talk.
I could hear the clicking the whole time. No, I had no problem hearing you talking. It's the chat had the problem.
So yeah, I've basically done all of the side quests offline and all the upgrades, and I've actually redone a couple of the story quests just to find more Koroks and get more money.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Koroks are a lot less of a annoyance to find in this game because it's not required. Obviously, you'll need them for certain things, but it's not a requirement.
Yeah.
For a little bit. But
it makes it interesting, gives you incentive to sort of explore the map a little bit more instead of just heading straight to your next goal, next goal.
Oh, cool. I get a new cutscene for this.
Cool.
I didn't think they put in a cutscene for destroying the Guardian at the beginning of the game.
Really?
like when you're going to Hateno or Akala, whichever one you're going to when you're playing the Guardian in the Runes,
Yeah.
there's actually a different cutscene. Or at least an additional cutscene in the game, the map ends. That's actually kind of cool.
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
No, I enjoyed the a lot of the things that they changed in the game or they added or whatever you'd want to call it.
Well, it kind of, they had to make it, I mean, you know, it is Hyrule Warriors. It's not Breath of the Wild, so they had to kind of vastly simplify things like the Koroks. You know, there's no climbing. The whole Sheikah Slate is much simpler. All that kind of stuff.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. I wish there was some climbing, because certain things would make sense. Because like I can't tell you how many times I get caught on a tiny little ledge that I couldn't climb over, and I'm like, this is just a garden that's dead. Let me walk through it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it was similar to the original Hyrule Warriors, where like there were certain points where you could use the claw shot, stuff like that, just to get up to the next ledge, and certain things like that.
It's like certain parts were so frustrating. So frustrating overall, just because of how much of a frustration, an annoyance it could be.
You know, I was initially a little bit, not annoyed, but confused, I guess, about the whole weapon merging thing. I still don't quite understand how it works as far as passing along abilities, because some of the weapons have certain buffs to them, and I don't quite understand how merging some weapons gives you the buff and sometimes it doesn't. I don't quite get that.
I don't know, because it's still, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't pay any attention to the buffs for it to matter.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that in Hyrule Warriors, a ton of time was spent, by me anyway, merging weapons, combining abilities, upgrading my characters, giving them more hearts and all that kind of stuff. Ridiculous amount of time. Like, in between every battle scenario, I spent 20 to 30 minutes doing all the upgrades. And in this, they eliminated all that. So that, I think it's a good trade-off. It's a little bit more confusing. There's not quite as much control over what abilities you give your weapons. But it's like, this one gives you movement speed plus 5%. This one gives you damage plus 5%. It's like, who cares?
So obviously, it's not that kind of stuff's not a huge spoiler, but you get the ability to remove seals from weapons.
Right.
I'm not sure if you can place them onto others because I haven't tried it because I don't care enough. Because I don't pay enough attention. I think once I get the weapon I like, regardless of the stats or the seal, that's the one I'm using.
Yeah, it almost doesn't really matter because, like you said, you don't really think about it anymore when you're just choosing a weapon, or half the time you don't even bother choosing because you just got it selected already.
Yeah.
For each scenario. I mean, I think I put a little bit more thought into whether or not I want to use food, because that'll give you a bit of a buff, but it's not that big of a deal.
I use food almost all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Just because, the material drop food is easily worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I like the increasing the flurry rush timer buff, because
Now,
it makes flurry rushes so much easier.
the timing for flurry rushes is actually almost spot on to Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
which is amazing. It is so close to how it was in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, and I found that even a 5, or I think there's one food that gives you 7% increase in the buffer, the timing, and it like made a huge difference. It was flurry rush constantly when I used that. It's like, oh my god, it's so easy.
Yeah, okay, if you guys want to take a break real quick, I might be able to fix this problem with the audio.
Okay.
Alright, it might take just a minute or two. I just don't want them to lose any of the conversation.
Yeah.
Where we go?
Oh, we're both quiet.
Yeah, that's what he said. I do this. I'm gonna lose you guys all together.
Titties.
Ass.
Ass and titties. Ass and titties.
Move that there. Okay, now talk.
Boobs.
Testing.
How does
Breath
everyone
of the
sound?
Wild. How do we sound?
Now to wait 15 seconds for the response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully better. So, what were we talking about?
There we go.
Okay, sounds
So
better.
I had to go and reseparate everything
Flurry
on the
rush.
different channels. So everything should be fine now.
Cool.
We were talking about flurry rushes.
Yeah, I guess I was done talking about that.
Oh, okay. Well, can we talk about how awesome it is for each character to have a unique weak point smash?
Oh, yeah.
Like, certain characters have unique ones for certain enemies, and then other characters have the same unique one, but it's still, different
Mhm.
than just a random spin attack kind of thing.
Yeah, and they'll have different weak point smashes for if it's not going to kill the enemy versus if it is.
Yeah, I
It
love
does.
stabbing the Guardians in the eye and the
Yeah.
Hinoxes in the eye, or is it Hinox?
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck, in the eye.
And I like the Molduga, Doug the Molduga. I like how the final smash when you're killing it, like you roll a giant bomb onto it and then you jump and.
Really, I don't get that one. I
Really?
guess. No, I guess it's always at the point where it might kill, but it's not for sure kill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you do the weak point smash where it's definitely going to kill it, yeah, you like roll a gigantic bomb at it and then you jump on top of it and like ignite the bomb from on top of the Molduga. It's bizarre, but it's awesome.
That's actually really cool and very fucked up.
Yeah, it kind of. I mean, the bomb kind of goes into it, so I don't know if it's supposed to be like eating it or what. But yeah.
Oh, so now it's a Dodongo.
Yeah, exactly.
Which Still upset there aren't any of in this game.
Yeah. I guess the Molduga is sort of the Dodongo replacement.
Seems that way.
Oh, that's not fun. That's not fun at all.
Oh, Moldugas are pretty cool.
They are pretty cool. Oh, god damn it. Do I get any of that money?
I'm gonna pay you
But
$20 when you draw a picture of Steven as a Molduga. Maybe. I mean, if you pay, I have to. That's a commission, yeah, but I'm still gonna say maybe.
They said you have to draw Steven as a Moldruga. So very different.
No, it's gonna be a Molduga.
well, that's fucked up. If you're using, my likeness, blah 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 blah, stupid shit, money, money, money.
Possibly. I don't know. We'll
So
just
yes,
all
I
go
have
with it.
defeated. Now here's a question for you that I haven't been able to figure out. Can you ride a Lionel in this? Still?
Not in the same way, but as you have the unique final attacks for enemies,
Mm-hmm.
one is for the Lionel.
Hmm. Yeah, because I've not been able to like mount it, but like when you get close to a Talus though, it gives you the ride option, which
It does.
causes you to jump up on top of it. So I was like,
I-
oh wow, I wonder if you could do that with Lionel's too, but it doesn't seem to.
I haven't been able to. I've only seen it at the end with the ending smash,
Okay.
or
I don't think I've
ending
seen
attack.
that.
and then you don't get to slash at it. It's all cutscene at that
Right.
point, which is
Right.
upsetting.
Oh.
Because when it happened, I'm like, please let me fucking mash the button.
That would be awesome. Yeah, the Lionels are definitely a bit nerfed. Not nearly as difficult as they are in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that is
Right.
definitely true.
Taluses, I think, are about the same difficulty. I mean, they're a challenge.
That's
Maybe
actually
a bit
my
less.
favorite song from Breath of the Wild is when you're fighting Talus.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I love it. One thing that this game did so much better than Breath of the Wild is the emphasis on the music.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Breath of the Wild, you don't normally hear the music, but in this game, you're always hearing it because, you're always doing something. So
Mhm.
they don't have that gone ambience that they're trying to use
Right,
to,
it's basically nonstop action. So
to build up the world. So you're getting to hear all of these songs for the characters and for the area you're in.
yeah, I loved the Hyrule Warriors background music, but it was all there were several unique songs, but it was all like electric guitar, and after a while it started to get old. In this, I think there's a lot more variety.
Yeah. And yes, the weapons do not break. I personally never had a problem with that in Breath of the Wild, but I can understand why people would.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, to me that was
The what?
the weapons breaking and Sidon
Climbing.
worst
Oh.
part of the whole game. Like I hated both of those things. Everything else was fine. I just hated those two parts of the game.
See, weapons
I-
breaking never bothered me until I played hard mode, and then it became quite challenging.
Like, I can understand people disliking Sidon, but, you are able to go into Hyrule, or not Hyrule, Zora's domain from a different direction, and you don't have to deal with it. But baby Sidon shouldn't be, demonized for adult Sidon being a bit annoying.
Oh yeah, Sidon left such a bad taste in my mouth that I can't even look at the baby version of him in the same light.
Because, like, there's a moment between Mipha and baby Sidon, and baby Sidon, she's talking to him, and baby Sidon obviously doesn't talk because he's baby Sidon. But he does his pose, and they made sure to get the teeth sparkle in, and it was adorable.
I think that's what Metal hates about it.
No, I
Is
mean,
that
to
it's
that,
adorable?
I don't care about adorable things, like positively or
Oh, okay.
negatively. They have no effect on me, except for Girl Scouts. It's like if I have money, Girl
That's a
Scouts
negative
can take
effect.
it. Yeah. No. If I have money, Girl Scouts can basically take it.
Buck, I can agree. It did seem like pretty much every living thing wants to fuck Link, and Sidon definitely seemed that way.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're in a new day and age. You can't fault Sidon for wanting some hot Link action.
Well, especially
Link
that
is
ponytail.
hot.
Exactly. Like, he misses his sister enough to want to fuck the same things that she never would get to.
That's right. Link
Because
has
she's
that area
dead.
too.
And when he's dressed as a Vi, female Gerudo,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
for those in the chat that don't know what that word is. Man,
Yeah,
is
everything.
it hot.
Yeah, everything wants him.
Everything already wanted.
I saw someone on Twitch claim, and I'm pretty sure they were being facetious, that Link is what's the word? What is it? Non-gendered or
Non-binary.
non-binary? Yeah, non-binary.
Link is obviously a dude.
Oh,
but Link
I know.
is very androgynous in this game.
A bit, yeah. I
Like
think they
he
were
is
kidding.
very
he's designed by
androgynous in
Japanese
this game.
people, and most men designed by Japanese people are androgynous. That's just how they go. Have you watched any anime, like ever?
Yeah,
Mhm.
men are androgynous and women have humongous tits, unless they have no tits.
That honestly started happening in the very late 80s, early 90s, though, because if you go back before that, men in anime all kind of look like Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, I'm thinking Vampire Hunter D. That guy definitely looked like Kenshiro. Like huge chest, huge, and like small feet for some reason.
I don't know. It's Japan. We can blame Japan.
Yeah, look at Cloud. It's one more thing Link and Cloud have in common. Both of them have dressed up like girls to sneak into a place.
Hey, there you go.
Although Cloud did
Link
it
up-
first, so I'm gonna go with Cloud being worse off than Link.
Mhm. And Cloud had the
But,
pointy hair, the signature pointy hair.
He wore a whole dress.
Yes, Cloud was definitely signature pointy hair
At
guy.
least Link got to wear pants.
Yeah.
Okay, because I feel like Tommy definitely has some other more important things to talk about than Breath of the Wild, which I know is insane, because how can anything be more important than Breath of the Wild? Out of the characters you have unlocked, who is your least favorite to play as?
Oh, easy. Hestu. I hate
Hestu is not fun. I would go with Zelda,
Why is
at
Hestu
least in Earth,
even unlockable?
because why not?
Got those maracas, man.
There, if you think Hestu being unlockable is a bad thing, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Well, here's my problem with Hestu. Well, first of all, he's big and fat, and he reminds me of the King of Red Lions from Hyrule Warriors 1,
I like the King.
which was horrible. I hate that guy. Running around with his stupid sail. And he's so slow. But it wouldn't be so bad if he weren't completely blocking everything he's doing. I can't see where the enemy is because you've got giant Hestu taking up the whole freaking screen in front of everything. And I'm like, I can't see around him. I can't see what's happening.
That is frustrating. Although I can't say I've really played a whole lot as Hestu, so maybe that's the problem. But early game Zelda is easily my least favorite to play as. Like the Sheikah Slate, she doesn't feel fluid, and it feels really weird.
Yeah, because she's just constant. It's like she's basically. Someone said she's basically button mashing on the Sheikah Slate. Just like, come on, do something.
Basically,
like,
and then her special attack is honestly probably the lamest. Oh, I'm gonna take a picture of you, and you're gonna take damage.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, she does remind me of some of the worst.
Oh, and I hate her
Hyrule
voice.
Warriors ones.
It's the one voice in the English voice acting I actually hate, and I forgot that I hated it.
Oh, Patricia Summerset.
Zelda's?
She's good.
No, I mean, she's a good voice actor. I just hate the voice that she does for Zelda.
Yeah, I can't.
It sounds like a less
say I don't-
enthusiastic Botan from Yu Yu Hakusho.
I
Hey,
don't know what that means.
don't hate on Botan.
No, I like Botan. That's why I'm hating this voice. It's like Botan if she was like way less enthusiastic.
I think my
actually,
issue with her voice.
French Zelda's best Zelda.
I think my issue with her voice is more of it sounds like it's so remotely like English for no reason, and it's just slightly there, and it's just so annoying.
Like, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make her sound a bit posh because she's royalty, even though posh is kind of like a fake accent in the first place that was made just to separate themselves from the common folk.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like 1920s or 30s aristocracy kind of.
Yeah.
She kind of sounds like what's her name, like My Fair Lady kind of thing.
Yeah. Like she belongs in some type of Jane Austen novel or something like that.
Yeah, or I was thinking Audrey Hepburn, but yeah.
And like all honesty,
Yeah, why is she the only
they
person
did-
in the castle that sounds British, though? I agree, Buck.
Yeah.
Why?
exactly like
Maybe her
King
mother.
Roam doesn't sound like that at all.
Yeah.
So it's
All from her
really
mother.
weird.
That we never
Yeah,
get to
either
notice.
it's from her mother or from some nanny that she had that was, from the the Hyrule version of England. Across the pond in old Hyrule.
They did a decent job with her character in the game, but not the best, I guess.
I guess I like the interactions of the other characters with her.
Yeah.
Like especially Urbosa. She always has a great interaction with Zelda.
Urbosa does really good with it. I love the interactions between Zelda and Impa. Like, because that feels more like friends than protector.
Yeah.
And protected, which is very useful.
Yeah,
and then
I do a little out of line though, because Impa has been basically declared as the recurring protector of Princess Zelda since the manual of the very first Zelda game. Like you never
but she's not
see her in the game. She's just
not
in the manual
really
as a cartoon character.
Yeah, she's not really in this game. I agree. That she's more of like her friend, less of like her protector. It seems like.
Yeah, like in all the other games, like in Ocarina of Time, she is a protector, and that's the only way you really get to see her.
Yeah, and Skyward Sword as well.
In Skyward Sword, that's all she's doing.
Handmaiden was her original assignment. She was her handmaid.
So
well, there you go. That's what she's more like in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I do love the interaction between Urbosa and Zelda. I love how she calls her princess when you switch between the two in a battle.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's always Little Bird.
Yeah.
Oh, this question I don't even argue with. This one's fine. The actual answer. It's like also why is she just Paya? It's like strong genetics. Paya would just actually be more so the next generation of her.
Is Paya supposed to be her granddaughter, or?
Yeah.
Who's Paya?
Paya, the shy girl that was standing in front of Impa's house in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but interestingly, they made her a little different. She doesn't look exactly like Paya.
Yeah, it's just strong family genetics being passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah, it's
I'm
amazing.
not gonna lie. I'm slightly upset that Impa isn't old in this game, just because I thought it would have been fucking hilarious for her to be an old lady running through like that.
Why does she wear the same outfit? Well, Purah wears the same outfit too, doesn't she?
Yeah, that's just what the Sheikah wear most of the time.
They're Sheikah.
Yeah.
They're like ninjas.
I haven't gotten to play as Purah or Robbie. I assume they're going to be unlockable eventually, but
I don't know.
I hope. I don't know how they'd be different. I don't know how Purah would be different from Impa, but I don't know. Maybe Robbie should have like a guitar. Yeah.
They should, they should be like a downloadable content, not paid. They should make it free, but they should patch them in so you can replay missions with them, and they should be one character. They should work together. That would make them different.
Hey,
Yeah.
that would be cool. I feel like
I wouldn't be against it.
wasn't there a character like that in Hyrule Warriors?
Where it was two characters?
I can't remember.
I'm not sure. There is a character in this one that is that ilk. I also hate playing as them too, so
Maybe not. But yeah, they can do really cool, interesting things like that.
I love how the armor doesn't give stat boosts, so you can just change how Link looks.
Yeah,
to suit however you feel like. Like he's a Hylian cop right now on my game.
Do they give you anything though? Or
What do you
absolutely
mean?
nothing?
What do you mean?
The armor does like the Flamebreaker armor, does that make you immune to fire, or?
I
More?
don't believe so, but
Okay.
like you can't really step in fire in the first place, kind of thing.
Oh.
So it you know.
You can catch on fire.
I didn't know you could catch on fire.
Yeah, try detonating one of those explosive barrels real close to you.
Oh well, yeah, but it goes out really quickly.
Well, sure. Yeah.
So
Just make yourself immune to explosive barrels. Then that's what the armor
That's right.
should do.
Well, that's what it should do,
Yeah.
but I never actually tested it. Like
I hate
I've
games like
fiddled
this.
with armor.
When they just give you aesthetic things, I honestly do. I want them to do something.
Mhm.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, and the description says they do something, but
I don't know. I haven't
It's
paid
unclear.
enough attention.
No.
I haven't noticed anything for 'em.
Hello, friends.
Oh,
hey.
Oh,
it's-
now we can have a dissenting opinion because Pataya hates everything that is good and fun. And
That
doesn't
is a
like this
lie.
game.
What do I not like?
Age of Calamity.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't actually.
There you go. He hates everything that is good. And...
Oh no, I have a fondness of the. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about the Legend of Zelda series. That's right. The metal canon, I know nothing about the Legend of Zelda. I'm not wearing a Zelda shirt. I'm actually, who is Zelda's the guy in green, right?
I'm very glad you're wearing a shirt.
Zelda's the guy in green.
Yes, and Linkle is the princess. I think I've seen her name around. He uses the Buster Blade or the Buster Sword,
Mm-hmm.
and uses the power of friendship to beat Bowser.
Man, you really tried hard for all of those.
I
sad part
did
is-
actually.
In Breath of the Wild, he actually does kind of use the power of friendship to beat Ganon. At least half of his.
Well, Zelda does. Yes, Zelda does indeed use the power of friendship to defeat the seal Ganon. But no,
Forcibly thrust the friendship into him with using arrows.
Yeah.
Giggity.
but no, Age of Calamity is I was looking forward to the actual, prequel story, and then things started getting a little fan servicey and non-canon, and I don't know. I was kind of wanting an actual, like, hey, this is what happened 100 years ago, like the announcement trailer was
That is
clearly
what I
hitting at.
Well, it is what happened 100 years ago.
No,
Up
it's
until a
not.
certain point.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but I wanted to
already
see
been
a
over
very
this.
particular character die, and
I
know?
did too,
Sign on.
and they don't, and I'm slightly upset about it.
also the frame rate. Like, I don't normally bitch about frame rate, but god damn, what the.
So-
What the hell? I don't know what's allowed on this.
Oh no, you're
the
allowed.
only
But,
time I
I've
noticed
said
a
some
frame
pretty
rate
nasty
is I
words on this show.
notice frame rate is when it is not docked. That is
I have only played docked, and it's gone down to like 10 to 12, and it's like, again, I don't normally mind it. I mean, Breath of the Wild didn't exactly have the best frame rate either, but at least it was playable throughout. This game, it's like I'm fucking teleporting like last night in fucking Among Us. Like, it's what the hell is going on? Like, but also the controls are weird, like wall jumping and shit. Like, it doesn't feel right. It feels weird. Using cryosis to like do a aerial attack or something. Like, it doesn't. It's fun, but it's not what I wanted it to be, I guess. But I'm not sure what I wanted out of a Warriors game, because I already hate Musos to begin with. Anyway, how are you guys doing today?
In that case, your opinion's invalid.
You know what?
I'm enjoying my Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity with its weird buttons and
That's great. I'm glad you enjoy it,
non-canonicity.
friend. I'm glad you enjoy it, friend. Because I'm past that. I'm past that state of mind where if you don't enjoy what I enjoy, you're bad. Like, enjoy what you want to enjoy. I don't give a fuck. Like, it's fucking video games. It's not the end of the world.
Well, I mean, this video game was believed end of the world.
No, it isn't. So I mean, I enjoyed it enough to fucking beat it, but I'm just
Beat
like
what?
Age of Calamity. I just wish that it was
So you beat it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't hate it. I just it's a solid like 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
Maybe.
You thought that Pataya wasn't going to beat a Zelda game. I'm pretty sure this
Well,
guy
he
forced
said-
himself to sit all the way through the CDI.
Don't get me don't get me wrong. It was a struggle. But I mostly beat it out of like contractual obligation.
Yeah.
Like again, if I've sat through Zelda's Adventure, which is one of the worst games ever created, I can get through Age of Calamity. I've beaten Hyrule Warriors 3 times on all 3 of its releases. And I don't care for that game either, but it's like, whatever, maybe I'll enjoy it with better performance, and then I don't.
Well,
But-
yesterday you said it might take a while for you to actually beat it, so
I mean,
I'm going
I did though.
off of Past Forest.
I mean, I did though. Because it's not a long game. It's only
No,
like what?
it's not.
It's like 7 chapters. So it's like it's an easy. It's a 2.5 sit downs basically.
It's not even a
Depending
But-
on how you play the game.
Nah, I'm not gonna like try to 100% max everything out.
That's what I'm doing right now.
But because I did that with the first iteration of Hyrule Warriors, and I wanted to die like the entire fucking time because oh my god, this is boring as shit. But it's like how I said I wasn't gonna binge Animaniacs, and then I fucking did.
Maniacs.
Yep.
I still haven't watched a single episode.
It's a good season. I think the best episodes are the early ones. The later ones into like episodes 9 onwards are kind of hit and miss. Though there are some really good gems
I just know I'm gonna be
in that in
disappointed when I
season.
jump into it. Well, so the reason for that
I'm
is
gonna-
why I know
I'm gonna tell you right now. I know you're normally a pessimistic individual. In this case, I feel like you're going to have some good laughs. Animaniacs is a really good
I know
reboot.
I'll have good laughs. Let me explain to you why I know I'm going to be disappointed, and I knew I was going to be disappointed a long time ago. I like the Warners. The Warners are great. The Warners were never my favorite part of Animaniacs.
Ah,
Right. I loved most of the side bits that I know for a fact are in there. Like, one of my favorite ones was Katie Kaboom. I also liked Slappy.
okay. That's a
You know,
that's a fair reason then.
hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause it really is just the Warners and Pinky and the Brain. There is a little. There are cameos, of course, of the other characters, but
they're
they're
not
only
the
there for
whole
like an
ones.
episode each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't care about the political shit, because Animaniacs was always political, and people try to say like,
Yes,
it's
yes, it
worse
was.
than it ever was. Like, no, go back. They like were dog face towards every politician that was ever in there. They even had it to where like Hillary was basically puppeteering Bill, like he was like a sad sap that wasn't good at anything. There was a whole bit. They were always that gross to every politician. I don't care about people's opinion of the political stuff whatsoever.
I'm honestly surprised that Trump hasn't like waged war on Animaniacs on Twitter. That seems like such an on-brand thing to do, and yet I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not on his radar.
Oh, I'm
At least not yet, anyway.
Yeah, what about that girl with was it the dog that was always chasing her?
Oh,
or-
Buttons and Mindy.
Yeah.
That was always a good one too.
And the good feathers.
Yeah, I love the
Good
good
Feathers.
feathers.
Good
was my
Feathers?
favorites. I love the good feathers.
Huh.
I hope season 2 kind of brings some of them back, but I mean, I guess it's mostly for episode consistency. Like all but like one episode has a Wonder sketch, a Pinky and the Brain sketch, and then like an outro.
Yeah.
like a little outro gag.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still gonna end up watching it. I just know I'm not going to like it as much as I would if all the bits had come back.
Oh yeah,
Do they have the Pinky and the Brain theme song?
yes. It's it's kind of like redone, or it's like re-recorded, but
Yeah. I mean, Pinky and the Brain was always kind of like a little treat because they weren't in every episode.
yeah, no, they
They're like, oh, it's one with these. Yeah.
and then
That kind of ruins it.
But yeah, I know the verse with that talk about all the side characters in the Animaniacs theme song's been replaced by something different. So it's like they kind of acknowledge that the side characters are kind of gone. They mentioned Pinky and the Brain, obviously, but you know the others are just kind of not there.
All the side characters is what gave the lot so much life, though. You know, like you felt
But I
like you were
think-
jumping into a little world of its own.
True, but I think that's kind of one of those things that probably for consistency's sake, I think that it's probably best to just have like Warner's and then Pinky and the Brain and then just kind of keep it at that. And maybe the next season they can kind of bring everyone back, but I doubt it because there is an episode that kind of lampshades that why they're not around, basically.
Yeah, so here's also the problem too, is when you actually look into the production, this thing, it wasn't fully finished 2 years ago, but the production of it was mostly done 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is why some of the jokes seem already kind of dated.
Oh no, yeah. One of the songs literally says like, "Hey, the writer, we wrote the song in 2018. We don't actually know what's going on right now."
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe back in 2018, they didn't even know that people wanted all of the stuff back.
Honestly, I don't think they knew if people wanted an Animaniacs reboot back then. They were just going for it.
Listen, I still want Freakazoid to get his movie deal.
You know what? Same.
Yeah.
I would not mind Freakazoid coming back.
I never watched that.
Oh,
I
the
was too
Freakazoid was
old.
the best.
I can say my opinions are invalid for not liking the Muso game.
I watched Animaniacs.
I mean, that's fair, but
I think I was in high school when Animaniacs came out.
you old at anyway.
Yeah.
No, Freakazoid.
And I'm
was-
not.
You-
Yeah, I'm
if you
used to
liked
being like that, though.
Animaniacs, You would very much like Freakazoid.
I think I've seen an episode or two.
Blue motherfucker gets his powers from the internet and goes around being a weirdo.
He runs
super
around in
weirdo.
underwear.
What's funny
Yes.
is his superpower is basically trolling. Like he's got super speed, and
literally.
super strength, but it's basically he's a living troll. And this was like
Mm-hmm.
before trolling was the biggest thing on the internet. Like it's always kind of been there, but it was kind of like a background thing that everybody who was common on the internet had to deal with. It was before like the main culture of the internet was basically trolling.
It's basically like The Mask, but like also, you know, Warner Brothers animated. It was basically a fucking Animaniac Jim Carrey's The Mask,
Yeah.
which I know sounds ridiculous, but I mean, he was pretty ridiculous, so.
See, Animaniacs came out while I was in high school. Freakazoid came out when I was in college. I guess I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
watch that much TV.
Holy fuck, you're old.
So somehow I didn't watch. I think, like I said, I've seen an episode or two, but I never got into it. I was
I
too
mean,
busy with
I have like both
Warcraft.
seasons on this computer right now, and I occasionally just binge right through them over and over again.
Yo, I'm just glad that I'm not the relic in here. I'm used to
Well, I
being
mean,
the
you're
old
still
one.
a relic.
Shut
but
up, Steven.
Just not the relic.
That's why I need to bring my girlfriend into these. Make me look younger.
Yeah,
Do you
got,
think
like,
she'd
what,
be okay with
12
you
year
saying
difference on
that?
your girlfriend?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm sure she's seen Freakazoid. She was a child when that came out.
No.
Anyway,
It's great. And even one of the lines in the song is about, him waiting on a movie deal. And he still hasn't gotten it. And no, I don't want Tobey Maguire as Dexter/Freak. Unless it was like way later in his life. He's too old to play a teenager now. I want two different actors to play
True.
Dexter and Freak.
like, what's that guy's name? Tom
No, I do not
Tom
want
Holland.
playing as
Holland?
Dexter. Get that out of here.
Tom
I hear
Holland's in
Dexter
enough
and I
stuff
think about
already.
I think about the show about the serial killer.
What's show about a serial killer?
I smell
Dexter.
Fire Emblem.
Oh, Dexter. Okay.
You
I've
smell
seen it,
Fire Emblem. What the fuck?
I smell Fire Emblem.
Yeah, you hear it.
I smell Fire Emblem. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, look, only one of my ears works. My nose has to make up for it somehow.
I don't think that's how it works, but okay.
Well, you're not. Wait, shit. Yeah, you are. You are also half deaf. All right. Well, you can hear the stench. You know, you can just hear tomfoolery is afoot. You know, and that's what Fire
yeah,
Emblem
you can
is.
hear tomfoolery being afoot. That makes sense.
But you can also smell it. Sometimes you just, I smell trouble.
Is it like that smelly smell that smells smelly,
Smellingly, and yes.
and then you realize that it's anchovies?
I know that. Yeah, I know that trouble. That's trouble.
See, so if you can smell sounds and hear colors, you might be on LSD or something.
Well,
And if you are and you're not sharing, I'm going to be very pissed off.
Well, we're social distancing now. I can't just, come over and share the stuff.
And since when has that stopped either one of us?
I've only been over there like twice this entire shutdown. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, that's because there's nothing to do.
Nothing to do for
Can't
you.
go anywhere.
I can go many places. What are you talking about?
As can I, but a lot of it's closed. Fuck,
Yeah, but okay,
I almost
so,
beat
let's
this
think about it.
fucking state. Oh, I did it.
How was
Zero
your
time on the
frequency-
left on the
right.
clock.
How high was your frequency of going to Duggar's place prior to the shutdown?
Also fairly low. So
Yeah, I don't think it's really changed anything within that regard.
it hasn't. I've probably been over there total maybe half a dozen times.
Are you guys all in the Dallas-Fort Worth area?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I see.
We went to high school together.
Yeah.
So apparently I need to move over there, I guess.
I mean, you could.
It's a
No, where do you-
There's
where-
stuff to do for old people, though.
Ooh, where do you currently live?
Currently I'm in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it'd be an absolute upgrade.
I've only been here for a month. I used to live I was in Tempe before that, Tempe, Arizona.
You're where?
Tempe, Arizona.
Happy.
Phoenix.
He was out.
Okay, understandable.
Phoenix, yeah. Although I may be moving to Atlanta, possibly.
I know where Atlanta is. Atlanta's a nice place. I don't know how it is during shutdown hours, but
I'm assuming the black market is still operating at full capacity.
oh yeah. But no, ATL is like my favorite airport though. It's like I should hate it because I got stranded there overnight once, but ATL is a really nice airport and I fucking love it.
I don't know if the airport is indicative of the rest of the city, but
Well, I mean the city itself is fine for where I've been. I've
I
been
don't know
to
if
a
you can
couple
judge
of
a city by their airports.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I've been to the underground. I've been to the Coke factory. That's nice.
I was trying to go there on my first visit there to see my then girlfriend and her friends, but we didn't go. We did go to we went to one of the concert halls. I don't remember where it was, but we went for the Zelda concert back in 2013.
I went to that in Nashville. I went to the Zelda concert in Nashville.
Nashville. Oh, I wouldn't want to go there.
Why not?
Nashville's
It's
fun.
Nashville. Tennessee is
Nashville's
basically.
fine.
Tennessee is just, country. It's just country music. Like you just walk
No,
outside and you just hear fucking banjo swinging
Yeah.
and shit.
a lot more to Tennessee than just
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think you're thinking of either Memphis or Knoxville. Nashville is a little different.
Nah, not Knoxville is the guy who runs Jackass. I don't know about Memphis.
No, Tennessee actually has a pretty big hip hop scene to it too.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot.
I would
to
never
Tennessee.
have known.
And it's a pretty inexpensive place to live, like compared to.
I guess you say there's a lot to Tennessee.
Like Arkansas, which you were going for.
Where's Rick Piper? He would have loved that.
Yeah. No, it's a fine state.
I'm sure it is. I've never been, but
Oh, you'd like it. The weather's more consistent there.
I mean,
Consistent weather would be nice.
yeah.
My favorite airport is probably NRT or HAN.
Bug says Alaska.
Narita or
please
Haneda.
stop.
I want to go to. I want to go to Alaska. I just don't want to live there.
I've been to Alaska.
I really
I
want
have
to.
not been to Alaska.
I do want to visit there at one point or another. I just wouldn't want to live there and.
I've been to Ketchikan in the summer.
Ketchikan.
Well, if you're in like the archipelago, which is where most people live anyway, it can get kind of cold, but the weather never gets too bad.
Yeah.
It's not
See,
like-
I mean,
I
still, you're still in the Pacific Northwest, so it's it's more rain than snow most of the time.
I just want a place to where I can where A, it snows, and B, the drivers know how to drive in snow. That's all I
So
want.
Most.
No, so nowhere.
You know what? I'm moving up north.
Yeah, because if you live in the snow, most people know how to drive in the snow. They have to.
True.
Not Milwaukee for some reason. Nobody knows how to drive.
Yeah,
in
well,
Milwaukee.
also just stay out of cities because
Milwaukee.
nobody knows how to drive in any major city.
Yeah. But yeah, no, fuck Texas weather. Like, I want snow. I want cold. Even if I've lost a lot of weight, I still like the cold.
Yeah.
I think Birmingham is too cold.
How hot does, or how cold does Birmingham get?
It gets cold. It's been in the 30s the last couple of weeks.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
It does
It's not-
snow sometimes.
That's
No,
not
so he was
cold.
bitching. He had to come through Dallas on his way to Birmingham, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were blaming me for this, which is fine because I'm to blame for everything. But
That's right.
Yeah.
it
Very
was like
true.
sporadically 45 degrees and raining that day that he had to come through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Who,
it's
me?
Texas. Nobody expects Texas to be cold if you're not used to being around here. Sometimes, occasionally, still being in the plains half of Texas, it does drop down.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for it because I'd been in Phoenix for like almost 3, maybe 4 years, and like, what is this temperature change thing? That doesn't happen, really.
Does it ever get below 70 there?
Yeah, at night in the winter time, it gets sometimes down into the 40s, maybe. Usually not, but 50s usually.
But your mom might be sick
No,
if she's still cold with all of that shit on.
Is she skinny?
Called baby woman, that's all it is.
Wow.
See, that's the problem. I invited my girlfriend to move to Nashville when I was there, and she's like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "That's way too cold." She refused. She lived in Southern California at the time, so she was like, "Nope, no way."
That's not nice. Anyway,
All right, I got to play Mortal Kombat 11 again. Oh man.
you don't
Who
have
got
to.
announced?
I do because okay, so they added 3 new characters, Rain Molina and John Rambo, which I don't give a fuck about.
And they
But
have a
Rain's
bunch of
cool, but the
skins
other
for the movies too.
yes, that That is the thing, because they're voiced and have the likenesses. Lyndon Ashby as Johnny Cage, Bridget Wilson as Sonya, and my favorite, Christopher Lambert as Raiden. And I can't believe I have to become a Raiden main.
I do like Bridget
because
Miss Vaughn in Billy Madison.
Oh yeah. So
God, why does Rudania have to be such trash to pilot?
You guys are just playing video games. And you're not sharing. Come on.
Well, so,
I am kind of...
Well,
Duggar
I
is
can't
actually
share
on his
because
phone.
it'd be spoilers.
That's right.
Yeah, well, Duggar's also on his phone. His internet's out.
Oh, really?
Again.
Yeah. Yep. No, yesterday it was my
It was the
power.
power,
Today
yeah.
is the internet.
Man, you just can't win.
I cannot win today.
The power goes out so often around here. We have a generator.
Is it
It kicks on automatically. I guess, but there's no power lines above ground, so I don't understand how it happens.
See, close to where Duggar lives, Arlington. When I lived there, power's always going out because of high winds.
I guess it's the same here. I mean, there must be above ground power lines somewhere that just feed into this neighborhood, but like, we had a bad storm a couple weeks ago. Power went out for like hours, 3 or 4 hours.
Why won't these
Like,
stone
and then-
palaces fucking die?
A week later, went out for an hour. It's like, but you know, with the generator, it's no problem. Comes on automatically. It's pretty cool. Who's that?
That is Buck.
Oh, it's
Apparently had to hop in here to
Oh,
say
dude.
something. Hopefully it was worth it.
What's up,
It wasn't. I'm basically lurking.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Understandable.
I guess he was tired of being on delay.
So now he's gonna respond in time, and everybody's gonna be really fucking confused.
What was I getting at? Oh, it's probably time to move on to another subject. That's what I was going to get at.
Yay, more subjects. What are we talking about now?
We got
We're
two
gonna talk
choices.
about math.
Two choices. Do we want to talk about stuff Phil Spencer says, or do we
Oh,
want
boy,
to
I like that.
bitch about Nintendo's relationship to the Super Smash Brothers community?
Oh, let's talk about that one. Oh, I got a few things to say about
So
that.
I'm assuming that one is related to them
house.
canceling the online Melee tournament.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was about to read out the headline.
Okay.
So.
Hold on. I just want to like. I love how a lot of the members of the Melee community are like threatening Nintendo. They're like, "Oh, you're starting to fight. You're gonna wish you hadn't started." Like, first of all, you fuckers haven't bought a Nintendo game in 20 years. B, what are you really going to do? Are you gonna like wave dash up to Seattle and like throw up air Doug Bowser? Like, what are y'all actually going to do? Y'all can't fight. B, y'all.
I need to
You're not making
any-
set this up for the people listening.
This-
This is going to be on
Nintendo's
Well, this-
entirely.
Right, and this whole thing is about people who are such pussies that they can't even meet in person to play a video game.
I mean, it's not that I get that COVID regulations are like, okay, we can't really have in-person tournaments or whatever, but it's like how it's not that Nintendo said you're not allowed to use what's called Slippy, the online rollback netcode Melee emulator. It's that we're not going to endorse your tournament
We need to
that
rewind.
uses.
Well, no, they also
Guys,
did
Yeah, let's-
that's
rewind.
cease and desist.
Oh
Tell me
well.
I
explain.
need to
shit.
set this up for the people listening.
Yeah,
because
people
Okay,
don't
so
know
then-
what-
This
Okay,
is a very
continue.
niche thing that not a lot of people understand, so we need to frame up the
Yeah.
scene, right? Most people don't follow Super Smash Brothers, right? So, to set it up, Melee, the Super Smash Brothers that came out for the GameCube, is still a thing. I know that's a shock to a lot of you
Yep.
at home, but people still play it competitively. It never really died
Yep.
off. In fact, it actually had a resurgence when Ultimate came out and got even more numbers. And due to the COVID regulations, they can't really have the Big House, which is the biggest tournament that happens every single year in person. Just where they host it, the states, they can't have like more than 10 people in the building or something like that. So they were trying to do it online, understandably, as what I was even saying too. And they had to mod the game to be able to do it online.
Nintendo's netcode sucks.
Yeah. And well, even just for Melee, there's no netcode. You can't play online without playing like an emulator or modding it. So this is where we come into the situation we are right now, where Nintendo that basically is what the headlines say, because it has to do with piracy. After I'm done saying the headline, Pataya, you can go right back into what you were saying and clarifying. But Nintendo shuts down the Super Smash Bros. Tournament for using mods to play online.
Claiming that the only way you could play with the only way you can play with the mod is to play with a ROM, and they were claiming that the only way you can have a ROM is by pirating it. Right?
So now that
another logic.
Up, we can go back into what we were talking about.
I don't know if that was the logic that they provided.
Well,
obviously, yes, people do have ROMs as backups.
Yeah, like you can absolutely.
It is a thing.
You can absolutely dump your own ISOs, but here's the thing. Nintendo is probably the most prominent video game company that shuts down ROM websites and shit. They made headlines for this several years. So I'm not entirely sure why the Melee community is suddenly shocked and appalled.
Surprised?
That it's like y'all are really acting surprised that the same company that went after all these, ROM sites is not fond of you pirating its games, even if it's an old game that they don't actually make money off of anymore, which is a separate conversation, because again, Nintendo hasn't actually made money off of Melee in damn near 15 years. But it's they're acting like their rights are being infringed upon and they're being attacked and they're victims because they can't play a game that's literally old enough to drive and vote.
19 years old.
Yeah, it's like this game is 19. Play I'm not even saying play something else, but if you really want to play something online with modern specifications or whatever, there is no shortage of games.
Coming from you. What are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
Anyway,
I don't want.
But there's no
podcast.
Oh my god.
Or at least just skip a year, like everyone else.
You can, and if nothing else, just skip Melee. You can run your Ultimate tournament just fine. Yeah. The netcode's garbage, but you've already accepted that when you signed up to play Ultimate online. You know what you're getting into. And then Nintendo was like, okay, yeah, you can just run the Ultimate one and just get rid of the Melee one, and then we'll call it a deal. And you can just do that. And they're like, nah, we don't want Melee. We want Melee. And then they don't even get Ultimate now, I don't think, because
the whole thing.
Funny noises aside, so I'm gonna be the person that is completely against everybody, because Nintendo is well within their rights to prevent people from doing the emulators and doing the ROMs and doing all of that shit. Do I like it? Not necessarily, because some games are old and fucking impossible to find or impossible to purchase because they're old.
Yeah, Melee especially, since people
Melee is still $60, $70.
Yeah, it goes for more than it did when it originally came out.
So you have that issue.
It ain't no Path of Radiance, but I mean,
I agree with you there.
Yeah, I don't think.
Here's the
ain't
thing.
no fucking Earthbound.
Mm-hmm.
No, Path of Radiance goes for more than Earthbound now.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous because Nintendo has every right to defend
defend the IP,
defend their IP. But people act like they're the devil for doing it. Do people forget when LimeWire, Kazaa, Napster, and all of those places
good old Morpheus
got told either you pay us and when we don't shut your stuff down, or you don't pay us, and not only do we sue you, we prevent you from ever being able to do anything again.
Good times.
Like the companies that are the worst when it comes to the DMCA things are record labels. But people don't seem to, be up in arms about record labels. They're, hey, we should pay these artists, blah, blah, blah bullshit.
Even though the artists don't really make anything. To be honest, it's all
Yeah,
the labels
exactly.
that make the money.
I think an odd, counter example would be the fact that you can still buy all those songs. Like, you can still buy those albums to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the biggest one, but, it's not like those albums are still in production.
True.
I guess would be the best way. Just like these games aren't in production.
No,
This is what I don't get, right?
The market's not big enough for it.
No, I mean, there are ways to legally buy a lot of those songs digitally. And there should be a way to legally buy Melee digitally by now,
That's what I was about to
there's
get.
not.
And see,
I
that
don't
would
get this at all.
that would be what Nintendo could have done.
Why? You don't have to do an HD. I know a lot of people have been asking for Melee HD. You don't need that at all. Why is there just not a port? Just a straight up ROM port.
The
Optimized
reason...
enough to work on the Switch on the eShop.
Do you want me to tell you why there isn't? Because I know exactly why there isn't.
Why?
If they did that, it would not succeed. Because Nintendo loves money, but they don't. Like, they would do something like make it the PAL version.
Yeah.
Or like the
Instead
JP
of,
version.
the
Because like,
TC version.
because even a lot of Switch ports are like not even like the NA versions, like fucking No More Heroes. Like, that's actually JP, I believe. Or at least it uses the JP version of Philistine for some fucking reason. I don't fucking know. But,
Super Mario 64 that they just released.
Oh God! Don't talk
To
about
purchase.
All Stars.
and
wasn't
then,
even the original North
Yeah.
American version.
yeah, and it'd either be a PAL version, which had a few minute differences, which to us doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but to Melee players who, have, while you were doing this, I was studying the wave dash. Like, these dudes have just spent all their lives just mastering frame data and advanced techniques and wobbling or whatever. They played the PAL version, it's like they changed it so it sucks. Same reason with the HD version, or with an HD version. There's also the fact that the Melee community loves their CRTs. They want as little lag as possible, which is understandable. But if you make Melee HD and you introduce this, random surges of input lag, they'll bitch about that too and they won't buy it. Like, there's literally no way you can really win with this community.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like,
well,
they
just need to not touch it, but they won't not touch it.
Exactly. And it's... I don't know. Like, I feel like with Melee, the game is not that good. Like, I feel like if you want to play a fighting game so bad...
Or
if you want
to play a game that gets treated like a fighting game, because it's a party game.
Like, if you absolutely have to play a fighting game, if you have to play a fighting game from the early 2000s, grow a pair and play King of Fighters 2002 Unlimited Match. The game is fucking godlike, and it has official rollback netcode now. There's no excuse not to play it. But
King of
There's
Fighters
also
is just the best
what you
fighting
call
game.
it, the
2002 Ultimate
other
Match
one
is
that's
so good.
overhyped.
What?
There's also the other fighting game that's overhyped from back then, NBC2.
Yeah? MVC2 is kind of harder to get these days because it was on PS.
Expensive as shit.
Well,
And,
but
yeah.
the online version was only on PS3 and Xbox 360. They never bothered to bring it on next gen or PC. I mean, you can play it on PC via Fightcade, but I don't think it ever got on Steam.
But talking about Nintendo not liking money, I believe Earthbound turned 25 this year. That sounds about right. Nothing for it at all. People have been clamoring for more Earthbound since before Melee came out.
It would be really difficult to get Mother 3 localized for a lot of different reasons, but I mean...
And I've heard a lot of the reasons, and I think a lot of the reasons are bogus.
But I feel a good translation, or a good, I guess, localization would fix a lot of it, because copyright bullshit aside, there are some, like, Magypsy is a slur now, and that's, however you want to look at it, that's not, something Nintendo would probably want to put in a game with the Nintendo logo on it in 2020.
I mean, use Mato's translation, and if you want to make it to where those characters are not offensive to anybody, you have to completely change the characters and how they work. Which,
honestly,
it completely changes a lot of the story.
Honestly, I'd rather just, have Oddity come out, but who knows when that's going to come out.
Like, Steven, you realize you literally just made the argument for why they won't.
Yeah, and that would be the reason, because if they wanted to, that would be, like, if they wanted to, because of how people are.
I think you're overestimating the amount of demand
for Earthbound. He's always overestimating it.
Oh, no.
He falls in the category of people who love
I mean, you look at Metroid, seems insanely popular, but every single fucking Metroid game that comes out undersells.
Metroid seems popular, but it's popular in the West.
America. Yeah. Okay. So Metroid's whole thing is that Nintendo, being a Japanese company and very against first-person shooters, they think that, like, Other M is better than Metroid Prime, and they're shocked when they find out that that's not actually the case. Metroid Prime 4, well, I don't even know what Nintendo's doing with Metroid. Like, the reason why Metroid doesn't sell is because Nintendo just shits on the fan base whatever chance it gets. Like, yeah, Samus Returns was fine. I liked it. I didn't really like how they, spoon-fed Ridley to be the final boss, because even though he didn't even show up in the fucking game. But, what the fuck was Federation Force? For
Switch.
Like, what the fuck was Federation Force? Why did y'all release this game in, like, a 10-year drought for the Metroid series, thinking that was gonna go over well? And then, fucking, again, Other M was something.
They took the Samus character, and the reason people like Samus wasn't because she was this whiny bitch that had to ask for approval for everything. So they completely fucked with the character. And I get it's supposed to be a pretty heavy prequel, but even still, like, the amount that they fucked with her character is insane.
And there's the characterization of Samus and that control scheme. That control scheme was fucking awful.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate the way it played. I'm not gonna say I loved it or anything either. I didn't hate it. The biggest
it could have benefited from a real controller, because sideways Wii for a 3D movement game is dumb.
It is.
And you aim the thing and you shoot missiles. Yay. Okay, so you're just like. That shit hurt my wrists. Like, not as bad as, like, Kid Icarus Uprising did, but in fairness, Kid Icarus Uprising was a fucking good game.
Oh,
Metroid Other M was not.
I wish they did a sequel.
Like, you know what? I'll let you fuck my wrists up if you're a fun fucking game. If you're Other M, fuck off.
Yeah.
And but no, Metroid kind of has the same thing with, like, Star Fox and F-Zero, where its fans swear like it's a series, but a good chunk of the reason why these games don't sell is because Nintendo themselves just don't let it succeed.
They don't give a shit.
Like the last Star Fox was the original SNES Star Fox game.
Don't you dare mention that other game.
Hold on,
I swear I will drive to your house. I will find out where you live.
No, hold on.
And I will end you.
Steven, hear me out. They remade Star Fox 3 times before they released
they remade Star Fox twice. They remade Star Fox twice.
I'm emphasizing the fact that Nintendo cannot do anything new with that series. Like, it's just Lilat Wars, and then the Lilat Wars again. Hey, Fox McCloud makes a new team after his dad died to go beat up an evil space monkey. This happens 4 fucking times before they decide, hey, there's a sequel. We should talk about that. And then and also I'm kind of in the minority where it's like the GameCube era Star Fox was my favorite. I actually liked Adventures because, spoiler alert, I liked the series that it ripped off of. And
I actually do like Adventures.
And I don't even mind Tricky because, Tricky was... No, you know what? No, I don't even get that far.
Wait.
Anyway,
People don't like Tricky?
Go...
Tricky as a character is fine. Tricky as a gameplay mechanic is garbage. Because, in order to get Tricky to, dig up stuff or do whatever, you have to feed him the little white mushrooms, but you can only carry, 2 of them at a time. So it's you have to keep backtracking to get more mushrooms to get him to do shit, and that shit was fucking tedious. But Tricky himself was fine. He was basically your standard run-of-the-mill Zelda companion. You use Navi, Tattle, whatever. But,
I didn't find Tricky to be anywhere near as annoying as, most of those type of companions that came later on.
Oh, yeah. But, he's...
There's Navi. Navi's my girl.
But anyway, but also they like seeing Tricky's little glow up in Assault. And by the way, I fucking loved Assault. Assault was so good. There were moments that just sorry?
I haven't played Assault.
Oh.
Assault's pretty good.
Yo, there's a time where Fox is holding a on the shoulder blaster on Wolf's Wolfen Wing. And it's so cool, to see them, team up and shit. The Star Wolf team is, they're rivals, but they're not, trying to kill each other. And it's a nice...
Except for Pigma.
Well, that's the thing. Pigma's out of the Star Wolf team by this point. He kind of does his own thing, and he... Yeah. You haven't played it, I'm not gonna really talk about it.
If memory serves, I haven't played it, but if I remember correctly, isn't Pigma the final boss in Assault?
No.
Or he's one of the bigger bosses or something?
He is a mid-game boss, and he gets Do you care if I spoil anything about it?
No, the game's 15 years old.
Okay. The final boss is the Aperoid Queen, and she absorbs people that she basically consumes, and so you hear Pigma's voice in the final boss battle, but it's not actually Pigma; it's the Aperoid Queen.
Hold on. Just 1 second.
It's silly.
So hold on.
Okay.
So she absorbs people she consumes.
Is
Does
she
she absorb them and then consume them, or does she consume them and then absorb them? It's a very crucial detail.
She fucking what's the word? What's that word they use?
No, what you were saying structurally was right. I'm just being an asshole because you said the same thing twice.
Okay, she basically consumes them and then they become part of her hive mind. There's a word for that. I don't remember what it is.
Hive mind.
There we go. Assimilate. There we go. She just straight
she's
up
a Borg.
Yes, actually. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so you want to know what my favorite Star Fox game is? And it's a very... I know this is a minority opinion because it suffered from...
If you say Command, I swear to God.
It's Star Fox Command, yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Zero, and then I was going to
I really like
drive over to Buck's house.
But I understand why other people don't like it because of the shitty control scheme.
I wish I could have loved the Star Fox game that doesn't exist. But the forced motion controls and the forced
gamepad bullshit was
the
dumb.
Forced gamepad shit is such a turnoff that it's damn near impossible to enjoy.
Also,
wait, scratch that. It's not damn near impossible. It is impossible to enjoy.
Go on.
If we're gonna talk about how much Nintendo doesn't respect IP, can we talk about
please
a certain
don't.
racing game?
No, don't get Forrest started.
All right. So anyway, and also we'll say F-Zero. No, hold on. It's gonna be pretty quick because
it's not gonna be
F-Zero GX was the last main F-Zero game, right? There was the fucking GBA anime spin-off games, but whatever. GX was like, and it was on the GameCube, and I understand that a lot of people like the GameCube, but the GameCube did not sell very well. The GameCube and the Xbox sold like 1 unit for every 6 PS2s. The GameCube did not sell. Yeah, but I mean, technically it was the Xbox, but I mean, whatever. But like the thing, I guess, with yeah, with the GameCube, it's like it only sold it didn't even sell 30 million boxes. Like, it actually did not do that well, all things considered.
Yeah.
So when Nintendo says, "Oh, F-Zero didn't sell all that well," but you've only put it on consoles that didn't really sell all that well, like, I mean, yeah, it was on Super NES and N64, and it did fine-ish. But I mean, I'm pretty sure if you had made an F-Zero on the Wii, you know, that console that sold, 100 million units. I feel like it could have gotten much better numbers. Maybe not Mario Kart numbers, but respectable numbers.
Mario Kart numbers isn't really fair.
I mean, yeah, but it's like, and then it's like,
and they never ever followed a trend of Smash Brothers is releasing 2 months later. Let's release F-Zero.
What I really wanted to have happen was like this space mercenary spin-off, like this crossover of like F-Zero, Metroid, and Star Fox, where they like all meet and like you can do like vehicular combat stuff, races, but also like on foot combat stuff. I really wanted them to do that, and obviously they never will, because Captain Falcon's basically like a Smash OC. Like to Nintendo at this point. Like, yeah, they'll show F-Zero off on like their little compilation, like little SNES classics, or when they make an N64 classic, I'm sure F-Zero X will be on there. But
yeah, they can add the Blue Falcon and F-Zero courses from Mario Kart, but Captain Falcon cannot be a driver.
And like Miyamoto even said, like, we can't make a new F-Zero because we don't know how to make it like give it a unique gimmick, and it's like you don't need a unique gimmick. Like, the Fast series did relatively well for being like this random Switch exclusive indie game because we didn't have anything to go off. There was nothing else. There was no F-Zero to compete with it.
Excuse me, sir. Are you trying to tell me that Nintendo can make games without there being a gimmick?
Yeah, you're right. Understandable. You're right.
I mean, to be fair, it could have been the Zero G gimmick that they eventually gave to Mario Kart.
I mean, yeah, but F-Zero already had that by default, though. Like,
you guys aren't seeing this, right? There's only one way F-Zero can be successful now, because it's the only way any niche Nintendo game can be successful now. They need to turn it into a dating sim, where you can date each of the drivers, including Captain Falcon.
As weird as that is, I'd probably try it.
Worked for Fire Emblem.
It did work for Fire Emblem.
Yeah. It did, yeah. But
who doesn't want to?
Thank God.
Be honest.
I mean, I'm worried he'd Falcon punch me in the uterus that I don't have, and I'd somehow develop a uterus.
Can you date the cars?
Ooh, that's a better question. Date the cars.
I just realized that Marsupial was still in this call. Because he has been very quiet.
I have nothing to say about F-Zero or whatever the hell else you were talking.
I just wish that Nintendo would stop putting. And then like they made this big deal. Like Kid Icarus Uprising was like a really big seller on the 3DS. Like it did pretty damn well. And then they're just like, okay, well, let's go another 25 years before making a new Kid Icarus, I guess.
I'm not going to put that entirely on Nintendo. I will put it partially on Sakurai.
Yeah, but Sakurai Sakurai does not have to be involved in New Kid Icarus, though. That's the thing.
He doesn't.
He doesn't, but side-scroller, like, in the realm of Shantae, sort of Kid Icarus.
Yeah,
God, if we could get a Shantae dog, wait for a minute. Ooh.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, wait forward to do an awesome job with Kid Icarus. That'd be fantastic.
So Sakurai doesn't have to be involved in the creative process for Kid Icarus. But if he wasn't, he wouldn't be Sakurai.
Honestly,
Like,
no, because he's kind of like given up on like he doesn't. I don't think he wants to focus on. He doesn't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. The only reason he keeps doing Smash is because Nintendo keeps bringing him on board.
Well,
Like,
I don't think that he could go without.
That's some money on his plate.
Yeah, he doesn't want Smash to be made. Like, it's kind of a, because it's his baby.
It is, but I mean, so is
They
Kirby,
have him
and he
by a
lets
leash.
other people make Kirby games. And Kirby's his real baby. That's why fucking Subspace Emissary plays just like a fucking Kirby game.
Well, that was also his intention, so that makes sense.
Yeah, like Subspace Emissary is literally just Kirby and the Amazing
Well, that's
Mirror,
all we
but
need is
you know.
Super Kirby Brothers All Star. You can throw everything else out.
Well, I mean, honestly, we could have them make games like Kirby All Stars, like every couple years. And I'd be okay with it. For the most part, this jointed Kirby game where the story doesn't really mix together, but it's a bunch of miniature games inside of it. I'd be okay with that.
I'm gonna go ahead and dip out. Some people want to play Phasmophobia on my server, so I'm gonna go over there.
Okay, good luck with that.
See ya.
Y'all have
Okay.
y'all have a fun podcast.
Hunt yourself some ghosts
I will.
that aren't actually ghosts.
Yeah, I'm gonna die. There's a new update where when you die, you get to like haunt the other players, so you can I can grab like a teacup and just throw it at them, and that's like my favorite fucking thing.
Once
yeah.
I can explain why an Oni is a ghost, I will be more interested.
A ghost could totally be an Oni.
They're not like ghosts though. They're like undead demon spirits, but like whatever.
That's
It
what an
doesn't.
Oni. As long as it's a spirit that basically gets corrupted into being a demon.
There you go. Boom. Oni.
Yokai can
Later.
be an Oni.
I'd go with the yokai is what you're going after more than an
Yeah,
Oni,
but ghost can be
because
yokai,
ghost can be yokai.
and ghost can be Oni.
I wouldn't say ghost could be Oni,
They can't.
but
They absolutely can't.
I will disagree. But that's the way it is.
Anything that can become
Plus,
Da
it's
da da
already gone,
da da da
so.
da da da. Some things will never change.
Anyway, I guess it's done with that.
And
So,
then your report. Yeah, did we ever finish talking about the Smash Brothers Melee thing?
I think
No,
it's
it
kinda
devolved into
natural.
Nintendo
Yeah.
not liking money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But like
wanted to
Nintendo
say-
could just, re-release it and people would complain about it, but they'd still buy it. But
wanted
Nintendo
to
is
say
completely
Nintendo-
in the right to protect their IP.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's
with
what
that,
it's about.
And I
Is it a
think they're
Is
in
it a
their
shitty
right-
way to do it? Yes.
They're in their right to go after like ROM sites and stuff like that, but they're not. They're never going to. I could download any ROM, any game I want right now, even after the supposed purge. I'm like, where did they purge it from? None of the half a dozen sites that I download ROMs from, because those are still up. So they're never going to get them all.
Okay, now you can.
But they have a right to try. They have every right to try.
No, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of sites that I can still go to and pull them from. But, it's never going to be a perfect solution because guess what? Making something illegal doesn't mean it's going to stop people from doing it.
I think
And,
they should go the way of the music industry, where they just embraced it and just Nintendo needs to just pick the best emulators they can find and buy them for each of the old systems and make them official and say, here you go, here's an emulator, download it to your computer. Here's a ROM site that's officially Nintendo that
Licensed
has
by
everything.
us.
I mean everything, not all this drip drop of, oh, we're going to
Yeah.
give you 3 games this week and then maybe next month we'll give you 2 more. Just all of them and just like 99 cents or 49 cents across the board and just be like, go to town. And if there's piracy, so what? It's, at least they're making something rather than nothing, which is
Well,
what
you should
they're-
have
I
options.
would not hate it.
There should be 2 options, right? Option 1 should be paying a flat cost. You get the emulator
Get
and the
everything.
ROMs you purchase. Option 2, in browser, since most of these old stuff are like NES and SNES, you can play in browser. You could also just have a subscription service, almost like a Netflix, and you could just play it in your hard its content that way. Most people, I personally would probably choose option 1, but I know a lot of people who would like option 2, and why throw away the free money?
Yeah,
If
I mean,
option
were
2 came with,
Nintendo-
go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I would buy things like Citra, the 3DS emulator, and be like, this is the emulator now. 3DS is dead. If you want to play old games, here you go. You can buy them you can buy the ROMs from us. And they know they're going to be shared and pirated and everything, but make the price low enough, you're like, I'll just pay the 99 cents and do that. Go ahead.
Oh no, I agree. I would probably go with option 2 with the hope that it be like Netflix, where you can download the titles to play offline.
Yeah.
And the same as I would like with the Switch, where you could, if you have, bless you, I think, if you have the cartridge, you can play it. I'd love it if you could download the data from the cartridge onto the game or onto the console, and every once in a while it check to see if you still have that game. You have to put the cartridge in. A inferior DRM method, but
or have something like the NES Mini that they did, but like my SNES Mini I've modded. And I can put anything I want on there. Why not just make it like that? It could be a device, maybe like the Switch with its own screen, so that it's mobile. But say, okay, here's the NES everything,
Okay.
and it hooks up to an eShop of theirs that has every ROM of every game that's ever been released.
It's fine to have a device like that, but why not just make it a service app that you can continue to put on every single console in the future?
yeah, I would
as
love.
long as they can get the emulator working on the console.
Yeah, that's fine. It may take a little bit, but you have plenty of time during the console's development if you just use the same emulator to have time to figure out how it needs to work on the console. If one has to wait a few months, that's fine, but as long as it's within the launch cycle at some point in time, nobody ever has a reason not to upgrade because all the games they loved were still on this service.
Yeah, as long as it's the same service and you don't have to repurchase all your crap with every new console.
Well, hopefully they're going away with that. The Nintendo Online seems to be a bit more intuitive, but it is Nintendo, so...
Got 20, 30 games and out of 500.
And still don't have Earthbound.
No, wait. My SNES Mini has...
It does have Earthbound.
Yeah.
Like my 3DS has Earthbound.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm taking my Switch with me everywhere, for ease of access, it would be nice.
Yeah,
and it's not like they don't have the ability to purchase the emulators or the emulator designs for like Project 64 or ZSNES or SNEX 9X or whatever. So they have that option if they'd use it.
Mm-hmm. And then they get rid of all of these. Then they could just say, "Oh, I don't know if that would, deal with this issue with Melee or not, but I don't know."
Yeah, it's possible, but
be less uptight about it.
The people that are freaking out about Nintendo saying no to them using Melee in a tournament that's online, or like they're bitching about something that doesn't necessarily need to be bitched about.
Mm-hmm. Hey, John Dillage here. Says he's on his way to get rum
and they need to play a new fucking game.
Well, here's the thing, right? So they would never have a true online experience with Melee if they were doing things the way they do now. As in, they're not going to have random encounters, basically, right? Matchmaking and stuff like that. But they'd have something similar to what they have now. You could go onto a site, you could find somebody's friend code or whatever, like you would with the Switch, temporarily add them. And like you can with Super Mario Bros. 3 or any of the NES games, you could just connect directly to the person you're going to play against for that round, and then delete them off your friends list afterwards, unless there's somebody you play with a lot.
That would be nice. I also wish Nintendo would go away from the fucking friend code system.
I agree.
Because I use Duggernaut on fucking everything at this point. Let me use Duggernaut on the system.
Well, I understand why they do this, and there's another way around this. Because technically, Blizzard was the one who started this, Discord does it, a whole bunch of things do too. You can have a friend code without having to have a really long friend code. They want everyone
and then have the numbers afterwards.
Yeah, they want everyone to be able to have the name that they want to have. So they don't want you to be able to take it from somebody. If you have a random assigned number after your name, you don't have to worry about this. So if you were Duggernaut, hashtag 9304, that'd be a whole lot easier to throw in than this 16-digit code that you have to remember.
He's Duggernaut.
See, that would be fine. Say what?
I said you're Duggernaut 4701, by the way.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, is that my actual number?
No, I was just throwing a number out.
Yeah.
But no, like, I wouldn't hate that. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
It's a way to... Everybody gets to have their fucking cake, but, it's not having to, figure out this random number and letter assortment, and then have to go back and check because you mixed up a letter.
Yeah, like, you copy and paste it to somebody, and that's fine, because it's easy to copy and paste. But then, sitting there and actually dialing it in, they're like, ugh.
Is completely different story.
Yeah. Like, I have a screenshot
but, if it's...
of my friend code that I just send to people.
I think I might not have it on the new phone, but I had, But, like, it's so much easier to, instead of, going for H1923, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I can just type in metal.
Yeah.
Hashtag 6969.
Yeah, they would totally send that to me, too.
It would be so much easier. And I wouldn't absolutely fucking hate it. Only slightly hate it.
Yeah. Be faster, especially for those connections, too. Like, if you just wanted to play against somebody. Because even for the modern Smash Brothers, I know Forrest was talking about the netcode, it's not good, but it's not that bad if you're playing in arenas.
Yeah, like, it's not the worst. And then there's the majority of people that are playing and complaining about it don't have their consoles hardwired.
Yeah, they're still on Wi-Fi.
Like, they don't have an Ethernet cable, and that's not Nintendo's fault. Now, I would fault Nintendo for not having a Ethernet plug,
at least in the dock,
already on the Switch dock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Nintendo charges $70 for this dock, and all it really does is connect the Switch to the TV.
Yeah, gives you some
Like, no. Well, fuck off. Like, there's no fan to keep the Switch from, getting really hot, which is a big problem. Because the Switch gets hot, especially in the dock. So, like, it's frustrating. Well, no, what else do we have to talk about? I'm getting very, very tired of bashing Nintendo for things that they should be bashed for.
Well, Marsupial did have something he wanted to talk about, though he is going to have to take a few minutes to frame that up if he still wants to.
I don't know if I want to. We don't have to.
Okay.
It would be a complete departure. I did notice.
If we didn't do things we didn't have to do, we wouldn't even be doing this podcast.
No, this podcast
This is
must
actually-
be done.
This
we
podcast
could.
has got to be done, and it is going to be done. You've got to do podcasts.
You want to talk about Blizzard's server shitting the bed after releasing Shadowlands?
Yeah,
Can we
can do
just
that.
can we just frame that as an every fucking company thing?
Well, Blizzard does this every single release. You'd think they'd be prepared for it now.
Blizzard does it. Bungie does it. And a bunch of other fucking companies do it. It's ridiculous, and it needs to stop because it happens every other year or so.
Okay.
And these companies still haven't learned.
Seems to be a big
But-
release. They're actually managing to get people to sign back up again.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and frame it, Marsupial. I apologize for taking over.
My other topic, as I was thinking about it, and as Metal, we discussed like over two texts. I don't know that it's all that interesting. If people aren't familiar with the players and the story, it's probably not that interesting. So.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, now I'm curious.
All right, do I have to say it quickly?
Oh, okay, then I'm not as curious.
There you go. Well, I mean, it's pretty simple. I can simplify it. We don't even need to use real names. I could, but basically, some guy who does comics, who does indie comics, I guess he's kind of an asshole. He's kind of an idiot. His name's Liam, and and some people like to make fun of him. So I guess, he gets really. I don't know if he gets upset about it, but he's been claiming that people making fun of him online is hurting his business. It's hurting his business, and it's hurting not only his comic sales, but his other business. Like, I guess he does something else. The comic thing is a side business. So I guess over the last week, at some point, somebody made an account that was impersonating him to make fun of him, which happens. It's a parody account. Everybody knows that it's fake. Everybody knows that it's not him. Yeah, it's like, if I'm fake so-and-so, if I'm fake Marsupial, and I go onto someone's, live stream and start basically talking about myself, like calling myself terrible names, or, calling myself an idiot, or, saying that I beat my mother and stuff like that. Everybody knows it's not me saying that, because why would I say that?
Wait. Marsupial, you beat your mother? What the fuck?
Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so he got really upset and basically filed copyright strikes against at least three different channels in the last week or so, the last few days, which basically prevents them, I guess a hard copyright strike prevents them from live streaming. And these are some channels where people actually are monetized and they use it to make money. And one in particular has a family with children and a house, and it's not his only source of income, but it is one of the ways that he makes money. And he didn't get.
I think actually it's his primary source of income at this point. Like, he has other ones, but this is the one that brings in revenue most consistently. Everything else.
Live streams? I think it's comics too.
Yeah, but those come in bursts, while the ad revenue comes in consistently.
Yeah. Well, he's been remarkably mellow about it. I mean, he was like, I kind of knew something like this was going to happen. But anyway, probably didn't realize it was going to happen from some spurging YouTuber who was butthurt about them making fun of him.
Yeah.
But here's my take on it. So this guy Liam had a stream last night where he was trying to explain himself and say, well, this is why I did it. And he said this multiple times. I spoke to an attorney who said that it is copyright violation. Here's what I realized, because everybody's like, people making fun of you is not a copyright violation.
No, it's not.
Idiot. What I realized was, I'm pretty sure his lawyer did say that, but I'm also pretty sure he lied to his lawyer, to his attorney. And I'm saying, I'm thinking to myself, it's not the attorney's fault if you lie to him and then he gives you bad legal advice based on that lie.
Yeah.
I think what he probably told him was, because this is what he said on the live stream last night. So I've never watched this guy's live stream. He's a complete idiot, and I've never been interested. But I was interested last night because he's copyright stuck some people who are internet friends of mine, is what I'd say.
Marsupial, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Liam, I don't know who the fuck you are, but don't be a dick. We're talking shit about you. That is completely okay. Fuck off.
Oh, he's probably never gonna.
Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
No.
I figured I'd throw that out there anyway.
Well, here's what his problem was that sparked him to actually do the copyright strike, was that somebody came into those live streams it wasn't even the people doing the live streams, but it was some viewer created an account, called it Liam Gray, and or fake Liam Gray or something like that, and was basically shit talking himself, or shit talking Liam as Liam. So I think what he said to his attorney was, these people are impersonating. So Liam Gray is not his real name. It's a character that he has created to help sell his comic. What he's saying to his attorney, I think, is these people are impersonating my character, my IP, to sell their products. And I'm sure the attorney said, "Oh, well,
that is
that
that's
actually is
copyright
infringement if that was the case, but it's clearly not the
right."
case.
Right. What he didn't say was that's clearly a parody. And I was thinking to myself, and I think I mentioned this in his live stream last night. Look up, forget what the actual name of the court case was, but it's basically the movie The People versus Larry Flint.
Yeah.
Where Jerry Falwell sued Penthouse for doing this exact same thing. It's the exact same thing pre-internet. Penthouse made an article or an advertisement where they were impersonating either Jerry Falwell or his mother and saying lewd, terrible things about him. No reasonable person ever thought that Jerry Falwell put an article in Penthouse making fun of himself. And this is the exact same thing. No reasonable human being would ever think that this fake Liam account was real. So that's all I really wanted to get off my chest, was because I was thinking about it and thinking, okay, this whole thing is way too much to put into a tweet.
Yeah.
So it may be kind of obvious, but I came to the realization, I bet you because it bothered me that he was saying, my attorney said this is valid. My attorney said I should do this. My attorney said, I spoke to an attorney. They said this is a copyright violation.
But no
it
attorney
occurred to me,
would find that valid.
Yeah, he's lying to his attorney. And the lawyer never bothered to go check. He's just assuming that his client is telling the truth.
Well, his client's giving him money, of course.
Right. But
and that is
we
one
could
thing
even
a
be a
lawyer's
little bit
supposed to
more
do.
Right? We could even be a little bit more charitable than that. Because Liam's an idiot, right? So let's say he wasn't even lying. Let's say there wasn't something malicious in it. Let's say he's such an incompetent idiot that he framed the whole thing so poorly that the lawyer didn't understand what was really going on.
Yeah.
Which is totally plausible in this situation.
Yeah. No, that's probably true. But who is it that said, don't attribute to malice what can be explained with incompetence?
Misconstrued as idiocy?
Yeah,
or
that's
lunacy? I don't know.
That's right.
No,
Probably right. But
I don't know.
I've known people who have, for instance, lied to or just misrepresented things to a therapist, for instance, and then they get terrible advice from the therapist. And they don't improve themselves, and it's like, why is this therapist failing me or whatever? But it's because you're giving them misinformation. And the same thing can happen with attorneys. So.
Yeah. And it could not be intentional, it could be completely just out of incompetency. Like, you can't frame it properly, so they're giving you advice based on your bad framing.
Yeah, and this guy is the quintessential Streisand effect guy. Yeah. I mean, if he would just ignore all of it and just sell his freaking comic or do whatever in his business, it would all go away. But because he gets so upset about it and does these things, these crazy things, people know it bothers him, so they do it more. So, but last night apparently he said A, he was going to get rid of the strikes, and B, he basically was going to yeet himself off of social media. Because I think what happened was, because he's never done anything like this before, and he's been around for a year or two. I think what happened was his channel subscribers went through the floor, and apparently I think a bunch of people went and canceled his their orders for his comics. I think he realized it was a big mistake. Which happened?
My thought is, okay, so it's parody. It's obviously protected. If it wasn't protected, how would SNL be alive? Quotation marks around the word alive, because SNL is barely a spark at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But like,
oh my God,
SNL wouldn't be alive.
You go
Yeah,
even
they're
before.
impersonating Sarah Palin. She should sue them. Like,
Yeah.
what?
You talk about Mad Magazine and stuff like that. There's tons of things that from the old days that would be dead if there was no parody protection for this shit.
Yeah. And he's saying, I think his take, because he's stupid and incompetent, is, oh, people actually believe that this is really me claiming that I'm a pedophile and claiming that I hit my mother. Like, why would you claim that? That's it. Nobody thinks that's you.
Yeah.
And on the off chance that there are people as stupid as he is that do believe that, okay, so what? What are they gonna do?
That's not the
Like,
test.
legitimately.
Yeah, and he said, well, I have proof that people believe it because they emailed me and said I'm canceling my comic because I didn't know that you beat your mother or whatever it was. And he's like, oh, and my take on that, after watching enough of Nick Rekieta, Internet Lawyer, is that that's not the test. The test is, would a reasonable person believe it, not would some idiot.
Yeah, so, and like, okay, so you lose a few people because they legitimately believe that this stuff is true.
Yeah.
Or do you go overboard and lose a lot of people because you're being a complete and total cunt?
Yeah.
And not the good kind of cunt.
He took option 2.
Because,
and basically
a reasonable person would believe it, then you can expect to lose a lot of your audience or market off of that. And that's where, like,
right.
libel and defamatory responses come in.
Right. I mean, if somebody was out there showing fake proof of this and stuff like that, and you could prove that it was fake, yeah, or just saying it, I guess you could say it.
That would probably be the standard at that point.
But
I apologize for talking over you a lot. I'm not meaning to.
Yeah.
Well, plus that would be defamation. Also, wouldn't be a copyright strike. Where people are like, "What the hell were you thinking with this copyright strike?" That's where he was saying they were impersonating me, or whatever. It's like, but no one thought that was you. No one actually thought that was you.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
now,
see,
I
that's
don't
also
even
the
know.
hardest thing to prove in court is defamation and libel. Intentionally, like our system is built that those are the hardest things to actually prove in court. Most of the time, it's not even worth trying to go through the case. You're just losing money by doing it.
Yeah, there has to be real serious harm to like your business, or
That's why, obviously, only political thing I'll mention today, other than Trump. That is why, for our freedom of speech is that's why it's as strong as it is. Obviously, it is intended to be protection from the government. However, it also helps against stupid fucking people.
Now he is in Australia.
That also happen to be in the government.
Yeah, he is also in Australia. I don't know what the differences are, but I can't imagine they don't have some sort of free speech protection for parody.
They actually, I believe that America is one of the only countries that has full-on full-on free speech protection.
Yes, we do have
like in the Constitution.
Sorry, what was that?
I can wrap it up more succinctly. We're the only nation that has the freedom of speech enshrined in our Constitution. Now, there are other nations with constitutional freedom of expression and speech and such like that. Even Britain has that in one of their articles, but their Constitution, or resembling, is a series of different documents that have built up over many, many generations. But we're the only ones that actually have it sanctified within our document expressly.
Well, still, even if Australia doesn't have quite as strong free speech laws or protections, I still think that his attorney, if he'd known really the context, that he would not have advised him to do a copyright strike.
Well, and then he
international suit too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, realistically, he's not going to sue anyone. He claimed he was.
That sits on U.S. soil.
Yeah.
But
No.
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think we have any thing to worry about as far as being copyright struck.
Oh, I don't even care. Honestly, I really. Let's say we did get struck
I'll
on this
never.
one channel. This is like the channel almost nobody watches anyway. Like we have the live stream, but nobody goes back and rewatches the video here. Like if we had to stream it somewhere else, or even just flat record it, I'd still upload it here afterwards. I don't need live streaming capability on this channel. Like this is why like Vomitorium, no holds barred. We can say whatever the fuck we want to say on this show, and we're gonna stay that way until the ability to upload this on every single outlet gets taken away. Because I don't think anybody
Okay, we're losing.
curtail what I want to fucking
We're
say.
losing Bullet. We're losing Bullet by talking about the Ginger Goblin, which I'm ashamed to call Liam a ginger. Because, I mean, not that I am, but I generally like.
Yeah, he's
ginger,
hardly
but not
watching this
that.
now. Yeah.
I use the word ginger as a term of fucking endearment
That's right.
at this point. Like I make soul stealing jokes. As if I make a joke about you stealing souls, it's typically because I like you, like kind of thing,
Yeah, and
or because I really think you're gonna steal my soul and you're really fucking creepy. But it's usually the first one.
some of my favorite people are gingers, like Rags from the Rags comic, even though she's not real.
It's modeled off a real ginger.
That's true. Oh yeah, that's right.
And that ginger lost all the souls they had collected over the years because of it.
Yeah. I've got a
True story.
ginger in my facial hair. You get up closer, you can see it.
I have.
that actually
I've
runs in
got
my
ginger
family.
in mine as well.
Like my grandfather used to have like really red hair when he was younger. It kind of ashed and became black as he got older.
Bullet says there are beautiful redheads and there are soulless gingers.
And sometimes they intersect.
Sometimes, yeah.
Beautifully soulless gingers.
But let's see what else we were talking about. We could either talk about the Blizzard servers a little more and how stupid that is, because you'd think a big company like that would be more prepared, but they never are. Or we
I
could
don't
talk
know what
about
more there is.
Phil Spencer and what he had to say about the Xbox and things around that.
I actually haven't heard what Phil Spencer has said. Can we talk about how shitty online launches are and then go to Phil Spencer and whatever stupid stuff he said?
If we have time, we're approaching the last half hour, so yeah. Let's talk about the Blizzard servers then.
Okay, let's go as quickly as we can. Blizzard's been out for 16, 17 years, or WoW's been out for 16, 17 years. Over that course of time, they've had 7 major launches, 8
Sounds
maybe,
about right.
one every 2 years.
Just about.
I think. And they haven't figured it out yet?
Why don't companies prepare for the worst?
I don't know.
Like put up, like you have the capability of having the servers go in phases. Why can't you have the capability of having more fucking servers?
So here's the thing. Here's what makes it even worse. I'm a software engineer. I've worked a lot with, especially Microsoft Azure, but a little bit with Amazon's server hosting. You don't even need real servers. Like whoever, I don't know who's hosting their servers, but if they're using something like Azure, you're like, oh, we're doing a launch. Spin up.
That's the virtual one, right?
Yeah, 500 times, or 5 times more servers, like in a second, or in a few minutes. They could just spin them up, increase the network, increase this, increase that. It can be done almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
It can even be done. I mean, if they're smart, they'd have monitoring software, which Microsoft Azure does, that says, "Oh my God, we're getting a peak here." Automatically do that. And
That
add dozens of more servers.
Part of one thing I hated about launch day for WoW when I still played it religiously, it's been a long time since I've done that, was when it launched, you could be sitting in queue for 2 or 3 hours trying to get in the fucking game to play the new content.
That's apparently what's happening, is that nobody can get in for hours and hours, and then when they do, they get disconnected.
And the
I don't
shit's
care
still
if it's
happening.
Network I don't care if it's network, I don't care if it's CPU or storage, I don't care what it is. It can all be scaled. Like in 2020, that can all be scaled instantly.
As a consumer, it's not our position or our job to care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, especially when they've had as long as they have had to do it. Like,
And if
Bungie's done a couple of these launches too, but there are still people that had hour-long or 2-hour-long queue times to get in to Beyond Light.
if they're hosting their own in some sort of proprietary data center, they should have invested whatever it took to be able to scale it instantly.
Yeah. So
I feel like
actually
we're
know
expecting
how
too much out of them.
Works, specifically, because they do have their own server farm that's in their building, or the building next door is part of the Activision Blizzard complex that they have their own server farm. It's not just for WoW though. Most of the machines are dedicated for virtual machines for WoW. It's basically
COD.
As you're talking about, it's
One
cloud
location.
computing now. All of them are hyperlinked together. They can create virtual machines on the fly if they need to. They have a server farm for WoW. It also covers things that they need for Activision games, other Blizzard games. Overwatch is covered in it too. It's basically one big threaded computer that they can create virtual machines as necessary.
So, is it one location for all of North America?
As far as I know, all the information's kept in that one location. I don't know if they're rerouting stuff from multiple spots. I just know how the main Silicon Valley Blizzard Activision HQ works.
Yeah, because they're having problems with both U.S. servers and European servers.
Yeah.
But I'd be surprised if it wasn't co-located in other places around the country.
You would think so.
I think they're supposed to have. I feel like my dad was talking about this because they scouted him or something, where they have one in they have one in Texas. I think they have one in a few key states, but obviously, whatever they have is not, meeting the standard that it would need to meet.
Yeah. I'm guessing it must be network. Maybe there's an issue with, literally with clogging internet hubs that have nothing to do with Warcraft.
Could be.
I mean, because I'm sure they have, enough to generate enough traffic to actually strain the whole internet system, I imagine.
I'd feel like if that happened, you'd hear more about it. Because on launch day, normally Netflix still runs at whatever the fuck it runs at, which I'm pretty sure Netflix has more concurrent people on it than, all of these games combined. But
I wonder if it's priority issues or something.
I think
Like,
priority issues would be a bigger cause, because you have to work with the telecom companies at that point for priority. We all know that Netflix pays a lot for priority. That's actually one of the reasons why they had to hike their rates up not too long ago. And
Yeah, I've had poor internet connections where I can't get anything else to load, but Netflix comes up just like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. If they want to pay more to have that speed or whatever, or have that connectivity, that's fine. If I want to pay more to fucking, get my internet to go as fast as fucking possible. Or I want to pay more to get certain websites to load, to make sure they load, I don't see that issue.
Yeah, I don't have a
In
problem.
that regard.
I'm just saying Blizzard needs to, if that's what they need to do.
Then that's what they, yeah.
Well, let's consider a free game who actually pays for a lot of high priority, and they make enough money despite being a free game to do it, is League of Legends. Even when our internet gets throttled here, because sometimes it does throttle, the last thing that will cut out on me is if I'm playing a game of League. And for a game where you do not have to pay anything to play, I know for a fact that Riot is paying for priority, and they just make so much money off of skins and other stuff that it's a drop in the bucket for them to pay for that.
Right, it's the same with Fortnite.
Yeah.
I don't know how Epic's lawsuit's going, but like Fortnite generates so much fucking money, and even if you have a shit connection, it still runs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things. It's kind of like, well, shit. Why can't other stuff do it?
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is netcode and some sort of lag, failover, ability in the code. I don't know.
Well, I will say both of these games have some of the best netcodes for their game type. They obviously need a lot of R&D for making sure that it's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you, did either of you see the interview with Mark Kern on Nick Regatta's channel the other day?
Yes, I think you and I were watching it at the same time. I think we've interacted with it.
Oh, yeah. Did we talk in the chat? Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh, hey, Metal, I know you.
Yeah, oh, right. Was that one? Yeah, I guess so.
I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
So Mark Kern is a former Blizzard employee who worked before
Okay, I recognize
the guy that made WoW what it is.
I recognize that name, yeah.
Yeah, he goes by Grumps on the internet.
Yeah, like he was saying he's the one who put fishing in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
That bastard.
Because his wife wanted it.
Yeah. He's very up, and I agree with him in many ways, that the thing that MMOs have been missing ever since WoW, which WoW even still kind of had it, but it's been decaying, is the social aspect to an MMO. Kind of like the social network.
Yeah.
Why would I play this game with a bunch of people if it was only like playing a single player or low party game? Where's the social aspect to everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, things like instances, or he was saying, he's like, we're not going to get it back. We can't go back, but part of the thing was collaborating on some of this stuff where you'd have to sort of schedule out when you were going to kill a certain boss or something, because there weren't infinite instances. So if everyone needed some sort of gear, you had to sort of collaborate.
Yeah. So certain quality of life improvements that they made were very beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Like LFG is, in all honesty, a bit of a godsend, but at the same time, probably one of the worst things that could have happened. Mainly because, like, now you don't have to worry about it. If you LFG a raid, you go through it in 20 minutes. As somebody that did the fucking, 4 to 10 hours of Molten Core and without any real progress, to not have that now is kind of odd.
Right.
For lack of a better word.
I think he, I don't know exactly how it factors into what's going on now with Shadowlands, but he did talk about, I assume it was WoW. He was talking about where they had a layoff, like everyone was, how these companies, some of these companies have crunch time, they'll have crunch time for a few weeks or a month. He was like, one of the teams basically had crunch time for at least a year or more. I mean, it was just like non-stop for over a year. And they were about to ready to release, and they decided to have a layoff. And lay off, a big chunk of these people who had, put their lives on hold for a year to get this thing done. And he was like, what the hell? He's like, no.
Can't we stagger this out some?
Yeah, or at least, no, I think what he said was, let's do the release and see how it goes.
Yeah.
It's wildly successful.
Well, he said both, right? So he was basically negotiating. He started out with can we see how the release goes? And then when the guy's like, no, he's like, well, can we at least stagger these layoffs over time so it doesn't look so bad? He's like, no, and this was what caused him to quit. It's like, we're a real company now, was the words that he said to him. And he's like, okay, well, I'll see this through to release, and then I'm gone.
Right.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, so I don't know how much of this real company is like, no, we're not going to spend money on, I'm sure they put some kind of, calculus on there and said, well, if we make it so that it's almost guaranteed that we're not going to have these sorts of problems, it's going to cost us X amount of money. If we just let the problems happen and then fix them after, and figure out exactly where the problems are happening and fix them later, Yeah, some people are going to get annoyed, but we're a real company now. They won't care in the long run.
So
You know.
I think it's probably also part of that. There's no such thing as bad publicity idea.
Yeah, we're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody's going to be talking about it. It might not be good things that they're saying,
Yeah.
but they're going to talk about it, which is going to drive up interest.
We
And
know
then-
what
and then
things
what
were
are
really
what-
shit was when they merged
What's
with
that?
Activision.
Yeah, they were bad before, but they definitely did get worse with the merger.
And with a problem like this, what they can say is, "Oh, hey, it's wildly successful, and we just didn't realize how much of an incredible success it was going to be."
Yeah.
And that,
Now, I
stockholders
will
need-
go with the idea because supposedly a lot of stuff has changed with is it Shadowlands or whatever the fuck?
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has supposedly changed, and they've kind of taken some steps back in how a lot of the game worked.
Yeah, apparently.
I don't know. I haven't
I
played
think-
it,
What I've heard
but
was
maybe go ahead.
we're talking over each other. Sorry about that.
There's a lag.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say what I've heard was that the previous one, I think it was called Battle for Azeroth, was widely
trash.
banned. Yeah, it was absolute trash. Everybody hated it, and apparently this one fixes a lot of that. Along
Well,
with that,
I think with the release of Classic, and with the amount of people that went back to Classic, they believed that going back a little would be a good thing.
Yeah.
I played Classic for, in all honesty, not near as long as I thought I would.
hmm,
It just didn't capture me like it did before. I don't know if that's because I had already done it before or not. It just didn't have that magic. But, like, with how WoW Classic did, it was the same. Several hour-long server queues and all of that bullshit. You'd think that they'd learn. But okay,
I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
I'll just say, as a software engineer who's dealt with massive, data centers like this before and virtual servers, they could have.
Yeah.
They could have dealt with it. They chose not to. They chose to say it's too expensive or it's too much effort. Or what
Yeah, I
ultimately
think
it's too
it's the
expensive.
expense of the manpower that's the problem, right? They don't
Yeah.
want to call people in last minute because they probably sent everybody home after launch, except for like the few people that are maintaining the server actively. Actually, probably they're doing it from home too, and they just don't want to pay for the extra manpower to get everything up to speed. They're like, your $20 an hour salary is not worth for you spending an extra day doing this for us.
What I mean is, it was less expensive. What I'm thinking is that they figured it would be too expensive to do all this beforehand. To say, we think it's going to be this much. We're going to add this much server capacity ahead of time.
Oh, I
Like,
don't
they
even
could
think they
have-
thought it was going to be that much.
Well, then they're just idiots.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Well, yeah.
Doug
Well, if we're
said,
looking at
this
the
happens
trends,
every time.
Let's look at Blizzard's trends, right? Even though it happens every
Yeah.
time, the trend has still been mostly going down with a little spike here and there, and I think they are overestimating the trend each time. Right? Because even with people coming back, they still have not eclipsed the return of previous ones, except for Classic. Classic's been like the only one that's actually had like a massive return from people.
Yeah.
It's still a downhill trend on returning subscribers.
Well, yeah. I mean, I quit because it became too simple. Like, that's basically what it ended up doing. Like,
I actually full disclosure. I actually subscribed for a month.
Yeah.
On WoW for the first time in years. And,
I do 6 at a time, but like,
I just wanted to try it
Yeah.
just for a month to see if I like.
yeah, the talent system is gone. Basically, class quests are gone.
Yep. What's interesting though is they have a whole brand new intro. Like,
Yes, I saw someone play one.
Like, I'm still in the middle of it, and it's completely different. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, whole different areas, a whole different quest tree that I've never seen before. On
an
a
area
class that I've done before. On a class I've
an
done.
area that will never exist once you leave,
True.
which is also part of that, which would be a problem for me because the areas in WoW are typically pretty beautiful, unless you're in the Barrens.
Yeah.
Even
and
then
that
you don't
made
get
it better with Cataclysm.
you don't get to see that area anymore. But
Yeah,
okay,
so they made it more like the Pandaren intro.
yeah,
and-
or
and
the Death
Goblin.
Knight one.
Yeah, and then they made them like all the classes do that now. They are optional, but you can basically raise up to I don't know what level.
It's like I think it was like 18 or something. The person that I watched,
Yeah,
he got up pretty high, and he got a mount too, which was insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they squished all the levels down too. So what if you were level 120, you got brought down to 50, I think. So,
Which makes sense.
If anyone's listening and thinking 18, that's not very high. It actually is now.
Yeah, 18's almost 40 at this point.
Yeah.
With but they made it simple. I enjoyed not being able to upgrade my spells until I bought more powerful ones, and using weaker ones because they cost so much less mana that you could use more of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember as a mage going to Stormwind and having to go to the trainer and buying spells. Yeah, I remember that. Not all that's good.
Okay, what did Papa Spencer say?
Oh yeah, but we do have another topic for the end of it. 20 is max level. I got it easy. I mean, for a free account, 20 is max level.
Did you hear the part where I said I actually paid for a month?
Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
Which means I should probably go play it later tonight.
Probably.
You probably should, but you know what else you should play instead?
Age of Calamity?
Oh, I was thinking Age of Calamity or Genshin.
He hasn't played
Oh
Genshin
man, I
in
haven't
so
played.
long.
Yeah, well, he's weird.
I have too many games. Too many games.
Yeah, you still
Okay, then you should play more.
finish, Final Fantasy, but you already played some of that today, so that's not on the docket.
Yeah, you should play more Age of Calamity then.
Maybe I will. What did Spencer say?
Yeah. So, he actually said two things, but one thing was more important. He actually had a good argument for why the Xbox Series S specifically wasn't selling so well, and that he said the best argument against it was Sony, in the fact that Sony's digital edition was basically the same power as their physical edition, while the Series X was the Series S was designed to be an entry-level series for people who couldn't afford the more powerful system, which I guess, but a lot of people don't understand that, and it bit them in the butt.
It makes sense.
Yeah. But the more important thing that he had to say was that console tribalism is one of the worst things about the industry. Right? And both of these were in the same interview. And the way Phil Spencer frames it is that Microsoft's biggest competitor isn't Sony, and it isn't Nintendo. It's entertainment business as a whole, and their biggest competitor is the toxic loyalty system between these brands, right? Because he personally doesn't even like seeing his competitors fail. If it was up to him, which, there's only finite resources, but he would like to see everybody succeed at least to their minimum level of success, Like, he wants everybody
I hate this word tribalism that suddenly becomes so popular. All it means is preferences. I prefer this over that.
Well,
in the console
not to
market,
that. Go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah. In the console market, hardcore tribalism has been a thing for a really long time now, and it really hit its peak in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And it's never something I understood, because my family was a Nintendo household just because it's what my parents preferred to buy. but we never shat on the other consoles or anything. We've even got a PlayStation when it came out. We just never really bought the Sega, but I love playing them going to other people's houses. We even got a PlayStation 2. We started getting both Sony and Nintendo to get the different games that weren't available on each. And there are like really, really hardcore tribalistic fans that it's not even that they prefer one system. It's gotten to the point that they hate anything but it. And that's what we mean. And
yeah.
He brings that up specifically in the interview. When they say console tribalism, this brand loyalty is what they mean. These people are like, I'm a PlayStation guy, Xbox and Nintendo can suck it. It is basically that attitude. And it really hurts the market and games because due to this, exclusivity becomes the most important thing that people can fight over as a company instead of be like, hey, why can't we all just get the game and the people who prefer the system buy it? Because with that mentality, we want to start putting our games on other people's systems instead of keeping our own. We can all share.
You know,
Yeah.
if they made these things, if they weren't so goddamn expensive, everyone could buy one of each. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a point. Unfortunately, if they put out a system without as much power as the other one, which is going to happen because, you know, obviously you want everybody to succeed, but you also want to be the one that succeeds the most. So, you know, let's say, like, it's just like with the Switch. People shit on the Switch because it's not as powerful as the PS4 or the Xbox One. Was it ever really intended to be?
Yeah, it's half the price.
Like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be a brand loyalist to the extent of a lot of people that are, you know, we're referring to. Like, I'll buy any system if it has what I want. I will, however, shit talk Microsoft as a company for their customer service. I'll shit talk Sony as a company for their unwillingness to play with others. And I'll shit talk Nintendo as a company for constantly lying and saying that they have no plans to put out a stronger version of a console until two days before they, you know, put out a presser about that new console.
Well, so Sony actually plays into this tribalism pretty hard. You know, Spencer may not like it, but whoever's over there running a Sony, they love it. Because this tribalism is really what pumps up Sony's sales, right? And it's because they refuse to play nice with other people, too. Xbox has even been showing, even though they bought Bethesda, they still want these games, for the most part, to be available on other systems. Microsoft puts Minecraft on every system. They don't care as long as you can play nice. They actually would prefer you to buy their hardware, but everything, they're a software company primarily.
Yep. That part of Microsoft has never changed.
Does, you know?
I would say it's. I think it's very. What's the word? I think to say that console tribalism is one of the worst things about the industry is just wrong.
Well, I think
there are plenty. I think there are plenty of way worse things.
Yeah. From his perspective, though, I can understand that as somebody who is a CEO of that. It's not even of a company unless you count Microsoft Games as its own subsidiary, which it might be. He could be the CEO of that subsidiary, but the lead of Microsoft Games. I can understand from his perspective, putting out a new console, trying to make everything good for launch and stuff like that, which even talked about why they underproduced, because if you go off of the market from the last generation, especially outside of the States, they thought that they weren't going to be doing as well as they did this generation. Because Sony outsold them everywhere outside the States. And neither of them actually did very well last generation within the States. Xbox barely beat them out. And they did not see that this generation was going to sell as well as they did. so they under produced and they started late to the train. And he took complete blame for that in the interview. You have to as a leader. But yeah, from his perspective, being somebody who's putting out this product and getting it ready for launch, and then immediately you see almost, I guess you could say, half of a fan base. I don't know if people consider Nintendo fans involved of anything, but between the two that are more direct competition, half a fan base is just shitting all over your product and stuff out of no means other than tribalism. Like, we're Sony people, so we're going to go shit on Microsoft. Yeah.
Like, they don't have any really legitimate complaints.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that is primarily what it is.
And you get it the other side too.
Like,
he complained about their own fans, the Xbox fans who shit on Sony. It's like, I don't want to see Sony fail just so we have to succeed. He doesn't get that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Spencer is one of those people that constantly will. Not that I'm on Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
That will constantly congratulate companies for releases or for games doing well or for their market value being high.
Yeah.
Like, Spencer constantly does those things. He constantly compliments.
He's
you know, if you
himself, he wants to see people succeed and these games do well.
Well, yeah, because if they succeed, that means, like, if Sony succeeds, Xbox is going to succeed. Like, it's just how it works. If they compete, they all succeed. If you want them to fail,
industry,
well,
so demand is going up in the industry as a whole. If the industry is doing good, even if you're not doing as good as your competitor, the trend is that everybody's doing good. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes you end up in the dip on the trend, but hopefully you can ride that trend up. You want to see the market value of your entire industry go higher.
So
I don't see how these two differentiate themselves.
I don't either.
Anyway.
Yeah.
As a Nintendo fanboy, it's like, well, there's Switch. That's completely different. Like, it's just different. And then there's these other two. That's just the other two.
Yeah.
They're the same.
And it's been like that.
This day and age, yeah, it's not going to be different for a while unless one of the companies wants to take a risk.
Yeah.
Well,
but at this point, what risk is there really to take?
No, I think Microsoft is taking a risk. They're just not taking it in the hardware department. Their risks are all in software, right? Microsoft is doing Game Pass first, which you could argue is like Twitch's little pass Prime thing that Amazon's doing. But then that was also based off of the Xbox Gold premium stuff too, so that's influencing each other in a circle. But they're also doing things with, having their stuff on other devices. Basically going full head into the PC market, so anything that you would have been able to get on the console, you can basically play on PC, even if the apps aren't as optimized as they could be, because the Microsoft Store sucks. They're dipping into it. That's why I don't want to buy an Xbox, because anything I want to play, I can just play on my computer. But I'm still looking at the company, because I don't need to buy another console just to play their games,
And that I agree with 100%. I had to switch headphones again. That is something I love that Microsoft's doing. Like, they bought Bethesda and they're like, we're not keeping these games for ourselves indefinitely. They'll come out on our console first for a little while, then they'll go to another one. Part of it sounds kind of shitty because Sony did that too. Bless you. But Sony didn't. Sony typically doesn't own the companies that it does that with.
Well, sometimes it does, right? Or they have like this secondary party partnership going on. The big difference between the two, and you see this as the trend, everybody knows that for game sales, the vast majority of money going to be made is within the launch window of the game. Yep. And that's what Microsoft focused on when they fought for exclusivity. They fought for the market window. Sometimes it'll be up to 6 months, maybe even a year, but sometimes it's just the month the game comes out, they'll have a timed exclusive for it, and then next month it can come out everywhere else, while Sony, on the other hand, was fighting more for permanent exclusivity of the games.
Like,
Right.
just to bring up what we were talking about earlier, Destiny. Sony did that nonstop.
Yeah.
You know, there was stuff that would come out on the PS4 that wouldn't touch Xbox or PC for, in all honesty, until Bungie split from Blizzard,
Yeah.
Activision. So yeah, that is a major difference.
And this is just something about the Microsoft principle in general, because Microsoft is primarily just a software company. It's just what they do. They have some hardware, you see it here and there, but they're a software company. They make operating systems, they make like Office and a bunch of other various softwares. They have Skype and stuff like that. But they don't be like, you can only put our software on Microsoft operating systems. There's a lot of stuff that you can run it on Apple and Linux and stuff like that as well if you can get it running. But their competitors are like, no, you can't run our stuff on another system. What are you, crazy? And this attitude that Spencer has fully falls in line with Microsoft's main attitude as a company.
Mm-hmm. Mallet was making fun of my bedroom, so I had to change it back.
No, I'm completely okay with third parties being timed exclusives, kind of thing. Obviously, timed is the key word.
Yeah.
So not permanent.
So I take it you guys are kind of in agreement. I mean, I don't know. To me, that comment, and I haven't read the whole thing, or was it a keynote or something?
It wasn't article? A keynote. This was in a one-to-one interview for like a magazine.
An interview, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it sounds a little whiny.
It is a little whiny, yeah. No, I agree with you.
It is, but
I understand from where he is why that's his perspective. Like, as a consumer, I agree with you. There are things that are way more detrimental to the industry as a whole than that. Though it is something I've noticed for a while. It's something that's been on my radar with the console tribalism and stuff like that. It's just like, there are things that are up here above where my camera can capture, and then here's console tribalism. It's not the lowest thing possible, but it's nowhere near as high as the other things.
Yeah, but you know.
Well, where's the problem of too many anime titties? Is that way down here?
I think that's
that's
non-existent.
That's non-existent.
There's not enough anime titties. That's the problem.
That's right. That's way up here, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, see, I mean, maybe I don't see it as much because I don't. Obviously, being a Nintendo fanboy, I don't give a shit about what a bunch of PlayStation people say about Xbox or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they say the shit about Nintendo too. You just
but I just laugh. I mean,
as someone that loves games, you hear it. Like, I just love games, no matter who they're from. But you constantly hear, "Oh, Nintendo only has kiddie games," or kind of stuff.
Yeah,
if you want real games, you go to blah blah blah.
Now
you've been hearing that for years.
Yeah, well,
and I mean, try to tell that to the almost said something else. The Smash Brothers Melee people.
Yeah.
Like, you have that tribalism or that blind brand loyalty. You kind of hear it nonstop. It kind of gets.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, it's like, okay, that's brand loyalty.
Yeah, like in any forum that's not dedicated to one thing, you get these type of arguments.
You get the same thing about Coke and Pepsi.
You do, yeah.
Well, they both suck because it's Dr. Pepper superior.
There you go.
Yeah. But I'm not going to go and say
Nintendo Switch of soft drinks.
I'm not going to go and completely never drink fucking Coke or Pepsi because I love Dr. Pepper.
What about Mountain Dew?
I love Mountain Dew as well.
There you go.
Speaking of Mountain Dew,
there's
this new one that is out for a limited time called Frostbite.
Frostbite?
And it's like melon flavored. It's really good. I
Doesn't
just tried it today.
Frostbite come out every year?
I don't know. This is the first time I've seen it. It could come out every year.
I was drinking a Heineken.
Oh, yeah, nice. But yeah, it's like I've never had it before. It's new to me, and I like it. It's like all melon flavored.
Like green melon or watermelon melon?
I think like cantaloupe is what it tastes close to. Yeah.
Bye, Rick. See you later.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
We have a
Smelly kids
minute.
need to grow up and play real fighting games.
Okay, first off, as somebody who plays like all kinds of fighting games, and I know Steven and I would argue to death about this, I actually do consider Smash a fighting game. Just because it's a party fighter doesn't mean it's not a fighter.
Yeah, no, it's a fighter, but it is a party fighter.
Yeah. Well, so is Power Stone.
The most fun that I ever have playing Smash is with all the items and all that chaos.
Yeah.
You know?
I haven't played a serious fighting game since Mortal Kombat 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fighting game, and you can make it serious.
No, some of my favorite fighting games are Super Smash Bros. 4. I actually like 4 more than Ultimate, even though I can respect that Ultimate is just a much better game. King of Fighters, which King of Fighters is actually just the best fighting game. I don't want anybody to try to argue against me otherwise. Don't at me.
Excuse me, dead or alive?
But Power Stone.
3D TVs are better than 2D.
Lethal League, which is basically just if you took Pong and turned it into a fighting game. And Dive Kick, okay, so...
I knew that one was coming up.
Yeah, dude, Dive Kick is great, okay? You know Dive Kick?
I don't.
Okay, dude,
it's a game where you jump up and dive and kick.
Yeah, there's only 2 buttons.
And then you jump up and dive and kick.
There's the dive button.
I'm guessing it's dive.
And the kick button. Yeah. And everybody has... Well, it doesn't matter who has health. Like, they all have different numbers of health, but the number doesn't matter. Because every time you make contact with somebody, it does 1,000,000 damage and kills them in one shot. And it's like, best of, and you set it to like 3, 4, 5, whatever. And every round is just that, and it's people jumping up and down and kicking down and trying to dodge each other, and it's the first one to land a hit wins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about, like, reactions and making good decisions.
It's on Steam.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love Dive Kick.
Fascinating. There's a guy named Kung Pao.
Yeah. It is basically a joke about Street Fighter 4, yeah. I'm also ridiculously good at Dive Kick because I have really fast reaction time.
The Dive Kick Edition.
Yeah.
Okay, well, should that go on my wish list? Is that
Oh, yeah,
I don't
totally.
think I'm ever going to. Totally. I'm never going to buy that.
Oh, no, play me against
Never.
1v1 me, bro.
Probably not.
I remember we used to do this thing at Halloween where we would just like stream all day. Well, I would stream all day, and it would be like a variety show. So for the 14 hours I'm streaming, other people would be on and off. Around lunchtime, we broke to do the Vomitorium, and then we'd go back to streaming all day. And Dive Kick was one of the ones that we did, and it was with one of my old co-hosts, Eno, and he was unprepared for this game whatsoever, and it was great. We did like, I don't know, 3 or 4 rounds.
What are we listening to?
Man, this is perfect ending music.
It is perfect ending music.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, no, this is from Golden Sun.
Oh.
Yeah, this Hopelessness.
Cool. I was playing some classic Final Fantasy music at the beginning of my stream earlier.
Yep.
Everybody missed it. Nobody was watching. But
yeah, so I guess...
I always start my streams with music.
Oh, I do too. Well, for these anyway. And I close those out with music too. Yeah. But realistically, the music's also playing the entire time. Yeah, but I guess it's time to close out. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I want you to know that the show is brought to you by viewers like you. If you would like to support the show, you can donate with any of the links that should be down in the description below if you're watching this live. And if you're listening later, I don't know, man, just check out our Patreon, look for the Vomitorium. It's not that hard to find, actually. Or you can PayPal imademetal@gmail.com directly. Just make sure that you label that it's for the Vomitorium, so I know what that money was going towards.
That's imathemetal@gmail.com.
I'm a dumb metal with a D.
I'm a dumb metal.
DAMETAL@gmail.com for the PayPal address, or paypal.me/imademetal also works. And just in your note, put that's for the Vomitorium, and we'll accept any donations we can. And there's something else I wanted to say.
I'll accept the ones that we can't.
Share, like, and subscribe.
Well, yes, definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Follow.
Hit that like
something
button.
specifically I wanted to mention, and I'm trying to remember what it was. I had it in my head at the beginning of the show, but it's also been 3 hours.
That was like 3 hours ago.
Yeah. What was it? Something important. And I'm going to regret this.
Send bits on Twitch.
We'll let you know what that is next week or on Saturday.
Hopefully, yeah. Sure. Oh.
You're
yeah.
never going to find out what was important.
Nope.
Saturday or Sunday?
It's going to be lost in wind. We will be on Sunday.
It's
I
on.
did put a little note on the the thing where it says Saturday.
If
and
I
just
remember
threw up
this
a
time.
text for Sunday.
Oh, really now? So I might actually not be home because I think
Yeah.
I work at GameStop on Sunday.
Yeah, because on Saturdays we're doing our Final Fantasy role-playing game.
I work with children
Giggity.
You do work with children.
who work at GameStop.
He only works at GameStop.
I do
for the
because-
deals.
Discount
Yeah.
and deals, yeah, basically. And I can hide stuff and come back and buy it later.
I shouldn't talk. I recently worked at a grocery store, so what are you gonna do?
So we'll see you all next time on the
All right.
Vomitorium. As I itch my brain.
Bye, everybody.
What I was planning to say.
I stare at the stars and the sky up above and think, what am I made of? Am I full of sorrow? Am I hurt and pain? Or am I filled with love?
Far off the edge of time and space eternal, I see those days, long to see your face, absent smile, scorched in frozen flame, yet I'll still call out